All right. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? Welcome back to the show. This is last week's fights. My name is Thinker St. James, aka the Bay Harbor Butcher, and tonight we are going over each and every fight from UFC Fight Night, or excuse me, UFC 321. Pardon me. Aspinall versus Gane. Also taking a look at UFC Fight Night, Onama versus Garcia. And to do all of that with me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the Ohio player, a man with two functioning eyeballs, Mr. Chase Parton. How are you, sir?
Well, I am all right. It is a Monday. It is the first Monday where we didn't have a Tuesday of fights beforehand, unfortunately. So
Rip.
here we are to only talk about Saturday and to set the record straight to everybody out there. Chase is losing eye function and like lately in his life, So when he gets a little older, it will be a different story. I just want everybody to set the record straight that
Well,
not 2020 no more. So
hopefully not as quickly as some people that we'll talk about coming up in a little while. But either way, if you are here early, we appreciate you in the chat. We see you, TJF. We see you, Beeb. Appreciate you guys as always. If you are new to the show, we are going to be going over each and every fight from UFC 321 Aspinall versus Gane. So if you got anything that you want to talk about in the chat besides those fights, besides that, if there's anything on your mind other than those fights, drop it in the chat. Remind us a little bit later. We come back to it, circle on back around later in the show. But tonight is indeed UFC 321 as our main attraction of the evening here. So I guess, I mean, really, like you said, there's no contender series to talk about, unfortunately, anymore. I feel like a part of us has been ripped away. So, I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to jump into before we got straight to the card? I don't know. I mean, it feels like, plus, also, I guess I could say, too, we also have a Friday show now that we've been doing. So we go over a lot of the surrounding peripheral things in the sport as well. So it's like, we kind of streamlined the heck out of this thing.
yeah, so I mean, you are setting the stage for what the inevitable is. We have to just jump right into 321, I think.
I guess so. Well, then, without further ado, I suppose
Well,
let's
actually, we could
yeah,
start with what were your
sure.
initial opinions coming into it? We'll start
I
with
mean, that was yeah, that is always the question, right? I mean, I thought, sadly to say, and hopefully after talking it through, it might change. But sadly to say, I don't think I could have thought of a card that was better on paper that delivered less. I was a little underwhelmed by this. I mean, maybe that could has something to do with the fact that I don't think that I could have personally or this show could have predicted this card any more wrong. I mean, there were a couple that we got right, some that we got very, very wrong. This was one of those ones where it's like take your gut instinct and just go directly against it. That was how I felt like with. I mean, you go back and watch the watch along of this thing. It's just like, okay, what's the new parlay? What's the new parlay?
this one is funny because yes, this is a numbered event. This is UFC 321. And we are now looking ahead at this fight night this weekend, and I have heard people genuinely say, like, wow, this is one of the best cards of the year. So it should tell you something that right after a pay per view, we aren't blown away after performances that we've seen. And of course, we have a lot of funky stuff to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I mean, like that scares me for upcoming cards. You know what I mean? Because we got the end of the year wrap up card, Makachev and JDM. That's looking amazing on paper, and I'd be very concerned now if like I don't want to jinx it. Hopefully, it's the best card of all time, but it's gonna be a Madison Square Garden. You know, they got to deliver there.
Yeah, 100%, I agree. But I think my initial react or thoughts on this one was, of course, it's a numbered event. I normally don't look too much into a lot of the. I mean, obviously, we talk about the matchups a week before, but when it comes down to it, I genuinely just go off the vibes of, and what I would like to believe is that on a lot of fights, there's a good gauge of what you're going to see in the first kind of interactions between these fighters, and I think in a lot of these you'll see maybe that's probably what I'll end up saying is that not a lot of these really just kind of stuck the landing. They all just kind of were in the first gear for me. So
Yeah, I think that that's a very accurate assessment. Not a ton of finishes on this card. Talk about one very notable one, but aside from that, it was kind of a lot of grindy affairs. And I mean, like definitely some standout performances. We'll go
mhm.
through all of it. Let's jump into this thing. How
Yeah,
about it?
fuck it.
All right, starting this thing off. I mean, this is Jacqueline Amarim versus Mizuki. I don't think that anyone mentioned to either of us that this Mizuki is a beast. What the hell, dude? The beast from the east over here.
Yeah, no, this one is definitely hilarious because Jacqueline Amarine, for a decent amount of time, obviously up until Saturday, people were looking at her as, finish or be finished. She is a killer in this division. Watch out.
Yeah.
Well, she got made look like, dude, minus 525, and she got embarrassed by Mizuki, to be fair. It's not like she didn't put up a great, she just didn't have the right strategy, I think was more or less what it was. She didn't bring the grit that Mizuki has. Like, she was definitely here to put on for Japan. I mean, she knew the assignment at hand was like, I gotta knock off who is the best competition that I've seen, and that I probably will see in terms of like women's skill set. Like, obviously, being a big time finisher for women is crazy. So for her to upset somebody like that, it means a lot more than her just beating somebody who's a decision merchant like every other woman. So I thought she put on a really, like, I mean, this was a masterclass from Mizuki. She was cooking right here.
It's so true. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones that, again, starting off what I was outlining earlier, where it's like, you have in your mind what you think is going to happen, and then things just start slowly unfolding to you of what's actually going down. And like, I'm sitting there watching Amarim, and I'm like, yeah, she's gonna start turning this. It's gonna start. And to be fair, I mean, in the first round, she did nearly have the choke. I mean, she had a partial rear naked, but it was kind of at an odd angle, and Mizuki was able to reverse it. And it was like at that point, it was just over after that. I was like, up until that point, I was like, okay, she's working through. It's a little bit of challenge, but not anything that she can't handle just yet. And then all of a sudden, it was just like from that on, it was really big problems for her.
There's some other ones that we'll talk about where I definitely feel like this is true, but and I could be wrong, and maybe this is a case of her just gaining a reputation. But did Jacqueline Amarim in this first round submission attempt, was she or was she not hooking this glove? Am I mistakenly remembering this?
Very well could have been that. I do recall there be. I mean, there was a lot of talk about tons of refereeing stuff when it comes to this. This might have been one of the early ones of it. This was not one that the referee actually had to physically remove fingers from gloves, but
But I
yeah,
think I remember him looking directly at it and me going, "Yo, like what are you seeing? You're literally looking at the glove and watching both of her hands like inside of it. It was crazy, but either
yeah,
way.
yeah, absolutely. Could have been. I mean, yeah, it was a good attempt, and God, if she had gotten it, things could have been so much different. But this Mizuki, man, she's like, so this was a 2 year layoff for Mizuki, by the way. I mean, coming in, not out of nowhere, but like if you heard last week's episode, I was like, clue me in because I just out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Comes back just looking amazing in this fight. One thing I noticed early on the feet, she was like keeping a very like open guard with like her hands low, and I think that it might have just been. I would assume it's just for this, but she's a kickboxer, which from Japan, not necessarily the skill set that you would expect. Also, I think that you had mentioned she has a lot of submissions on her record. So it's like those two don't necessarily gel like off rip, but like I think that it all kind of makes sense when you put the pieces together. She was keeping this sort of low base, open guard, I guess, just anticipating takedowns and whatnot. Still ended up getting taken down, but I think that like the mindset was already there. Like I know what I'm getting into, I know what I have to anticipate and counteract. And as she started going through, Amarim started gassing out in this fight like somewhat quickly, and I think that just over like she's like incrementally chipped away at her in a way that really was in her benefit.
Yeah, one thing I will note that I think is super important. I mean, Mizuki is a Sarah Longo student, so these type of the people that go there and train. Sometimes they just, I don't know. Even we saw with Freddie Vidal, I believe he was a Sarah Longo guy. Like even in the
Yes.
first fight, like I was like, wow, like somehow they're able to make these guys like see the vision. Like they can get them to understand like this is the biggest opportunity for them. Like you got to finish and make it a spectacle. Obviously Mizuki didn't finish, but she understood this is big for me. And I don't know what it is about Sarah Longo. I mean, look, Mizuki didn't throw a single leg kick, by the way. I just think it's funny to note right here. Like she's just a chat. Like fuck, I don't need to fucking kick her in the leg. No, I'll just go out there and just beat the hell out of her. But she's yeah, the grappling was definitely A1. The striking was honestly it was definitely it was confident is what it was. She was doing a lot of moving with the hands. She was trying to get her, get her mind thinking, play with the hands, and then she obviously was setting her up for a lot of stuff. And she didn't have to use her legs to do it. And then in the grappling, 2 for 2 on the takedowns, and she defended 4 from Amarine, and she literally controlled her in most of the sequences. I mean, there was just no hope for Amarine. And it's crazy because as soon as we saw this happening after the first round, honestly, we knew she ain't it. Like and there have been moments, I think she lost to Sam Hughes, is what it was. And I didn't watch that one, but honestly, we probably could have seen the signs of something like this if that's what it was, in my
True.
opinion.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like, I think that the BJJ early from Amarim kind of, shaped the opinion. But like not in this fight. I'm talking, if you go back in like the history, it's
Yes.
like, she had standout performances. But it like you always have to categorize it against the competition and all that kind of stuff.
She pulled guard in this. Like, that's how you knew it was over. Like, I mean, she
Well,
had nothing left.
that was
So,
what I was gonna get to. Is just it's like the biggest issue. I mean, aside from the fact she got cracked really bad at the very end of the first round, which I think just kind of set the trajectory off in a bad way for the second going into the third as well. But Amarim just was not able to adjust in this fight. Her instinct is always to grapple, and that's I mean, like look in a panic situation. Obviously, you want to be able to get to a leg. You got to be able to navigate the deep waters kind of thing. But she needs to have some game planning in addition to the grappling as opposed to just knee-jerk reactionary autopilot, which is really what it seemed like.
it actually is frustrating because I think it genuinely, now that I'm remembering just how she fights and like the reputation that I feel like she's gaining, her game is predicated on her being able to grab, like she like reaches out, grabs the wrist, and then fucking hooks the glove to pull them into her fucking moves. Like it genuinely is crazy because like that's all she had. And once Mizuki, I think it was a lot of the hand movement. She wasn't letting her grab her fucking wrist. She was popping her up on the outside and kept her thinking where the shots were going to come from. And I think Mizuki, honestly, when you look at a lot of the different angles she was able to create with her striking, she was real fluent. And I think it does come down to the confidence. She did not see Amarine as a threat on the feet. And once Amarine knew that she was butchered, it was just her reaching for Dear Mercy to try to get a hold of her and get it into a grappling situation. And even then, Mizuki had the answer for the grappling. So it was just no help for her.
Yeah, I mean, labored is an understatement when it comes to Amarim in a couple of these times. Like the third round, she's on. She ends up getting that. Like she was on the ground for a little while there, and like she just was like super slow to get up, and that was just a bad. Like optically already after all of what had happened before that, and she's like showing that A, she wants to be on the ground, and B, that if it has to go back to the feet, she really doesn't want to go there. None of this looking good. And the toughness of Mizuki definitely showed as well because she got opened up. She got pretty bloody in this fight, if you recall as well, off of a head clash. But that's is what
I
it is
do
in this.
fucking remember her leading with her fucking head. Dude, she actually, I remember seeing it because it might have been shout out to the Mank. He was like, oh shit, she's cut open. And I was like, well, no shit, she is. I just watched the fucking Amarine lead straight with her face into Mizuki. Like, genuinely. And obviously she's a pretty woman, so we don't want to give her the dirty fighter, but like genuinely from what I'm seeing, she kind of is one of these people, and we'll obviously talk about it later. And I will give, I'll call spade a spade, but like this girl right here genuinely is kind of pissing me off with how often she's just like she's losing too with her cheating now that this is, well, not losing in the past, but like now this is what she's come to. Like if you're a cheater and you're losing, I mean it's not good. If you can cheat and win and get away with it, okay, you get some aura points kind of deal.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, that's going to be a very big note of discussion throughout a couple of these. So, yeah, no, I feel you on that. Yeah, but no, I mean, really, this right here, this was just a solid comeback for Mizuki. I mean, this is like a remember the name kind of fight now, and she goes by the single name, Mizuki in a way, but she only just goes by the Mizuki there. So, I think that even might have played a little bit into my thought process coming in. I'm like, she's got the one name. It's like that always seems like a little self-aggrandizing to me. Who are you, Madonna? But
right.
no, but I mean, she's coming in and living up to it. So that single name is one to remember now. If you see Mizuki, you're gonna remember toughness.
I hear me out, and this is the last thing I want to say. When Mizuki is in her next fight, I would just I probably will be the one to say maybe Amarine wasn't as good as we thought. And then let's not take this into too much consideration because she got her ass whooped.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, and we do have that assessment at times. I don't know if I would necessarily agree 100%. It really depends on the opponent when it comes to that. Because, like, what I saw with Mizuki is that she is willing to go out there and firebomb. You know what I mean? She wants to throw her hands. She wants to get engaged in these tough situations. Like, she's not straying away from the danger. And so it really just depends on if the opponent that she gets is going to meet her halfway with that, and then how strong the opponent is. So
Yeah, we'll see. This will
yeah,
be
we'll
fun, actually. I do like Miss Mizuki.
same. Yeah, and I hope that she stays active now. I mean, I hope that this is a start of her continuing to come around and be, in the cage a lot more, because a 2-year layoff is concerning, but maybe this is the start of a new era.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, before we move on, chat has been blowing up. Michael, Beeb, Dylan, appreciate all you guys checking in. Thank you very much for being here. We will get to all of the fights that you guys are referencing in due time. So appreciate y'all for hanging out with us tonight.
Oof.
Moving on. Yeah, moving on to this next one here. Azat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo. Now, Maxim missed weight, I think, by 3 pounds. Am I correct?
I honestly don't know. This one was a shock to me because I think that this wasn't like an official miss weight. This was like, hey, we're gonna miss weight. We're gonna do a catch weight thing because I don't remember on the official scales them saying that. I only remember it was the other guy, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think this was a weight miss though. I thought anyway. That's what I thought I saw anyway. I think it was somewhere in the range of like 2 or 3 pounds. Not the worst. Which trust we've seen crazy weight misses, but still a miss nonetheless. And what I often say to that is either you end up with a guy who has a great advantage or a great disadvantage coming into the fight. And I would say that this was the possibly the worst that we've seen Maxim in the UFC, and on the other side of it, possibly the best that we've ever seen Mitch Raposo in the UFC.
Yeah, this one was kind of egg on the face moment right here because we have not been too high on Mitch Raposo. That is
Facts.
100% facts. And from the last performance that I saw Maxim have against Tagir Ulanbekov, I said, that guy is really good. That guy is really, really good. If he was able to make Tagir look normal, I mean, surely he's decent. And he actually was very good on the feet, and he was able to take Tagir down. In this matchup, I saw nothing. I saw nothing good. This was probably one like when you talk about one hit wonders. I mean, this is like the immediate drop off of everything that you saw good about him in one fight. He just did not have it anymore. I, I genuinely don't know why did he turn into a wrestler. I don't know. His striking was so good in the last fight. Mitch Raposo, you know, how the hell did he not shoot a single takedown? Is this wrong here?
I'm telling you, it's like they switched styles.
Yeah,
It's crazy. I mean, like Maxim was he was so singularly focused on the takedowns, and also he waited so long to get any kind of game plan off. It's like you can't work your way up to activity while sacrificing half a round every single round.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
this one was very annoying. But I will say, and what I want to talk about more, because I mean, I'm definitely just, I mean, I'm off Maxim, and one, I'll spoil the beans for you if you didn't see it. We'll talk about the other one here in just a second. But Maxim has been officially removed from the UFC, so
true.
there's not really much more I need to say about him. I mean, he did not perform. They don't want him anymore. He missed weight. He made his bed. He can go lie in it. Whatever the case may be. Mitch Raposo, on the other hand, talk about turning a career around. I mean, as of one performance, I mean, that's genuinely all you need to start making people a fan. I mean, you did not do well in your last ones, but you have had some decent competition thrown your way. So I'll give that in your corner is that you've been gaining some good experience, not necessarily against vets, but against people who are kind of in the similar situation who are young and trying to rise through the rankings, but they've just been better than you. So if you get a decent amount of hand me kind of fights, not like this. I didn't think this one was a hand me kind of fight, but I do believe there's better people out there that are still going to be better than Maxim. But Mitch Raposo, like honestly, this was a really good performance. If he can continue to, elevate his game, and I mean, apparently he's a fucking striker now, so it doesn't even matter what I think. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I
That's
agree.
what I was gonna say. I mean, Raposo had some really sharp boxing in this one. I was very impressed by the speed of his hands when he was letting them go. Now, granted, Maxim was really sluggish in this fight, so it was like you have a sitting duck of a target. It's okay. You can kind of be a little bit more impressive than you might have been. But in addition to the hands, he was always able to get back to his feet. No real threat from all of the control that Maxim was doing throughout this fight. So like Raposo, this was like a nice skills display from Raposo, where it's like, if you are in this situation, this is what you do. If you're in the, if you're at range, this is how you strike. If you're getting clinched up, this is how you get back to your feet. I mean, the one thing that Maxim did was he did have that pretty nice suplex in the first round. That was kind of
Mhm.
cool to see, but popped right back up thereafter. So it's like, again, point by point, what do you do in this situation? If your opponent does this, this is how you respond. And Raposo just had answers for everything. It was really a well-rounded, solid performance against a guy who just looked like he could not get out of second gear.
Yeah, I do. I do remember the suplex. I think the only thing I want to say is that it was fun, it was cool, and then I think there was still hope for Maxim at that point. After the second round, I mean, you knew this dude was fucking bad. Like oh, the point we didn't talk about the point being taken.
Yeah,
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 so
third round. So I was saying that, like, or I was going to say that Maxim, he was a little bit quicker to like get to the game plan in the third. I think that he finally realized that letting half a round go for those first two was not the move. But so yeah, he's it's still not really damaging or threatening submissions into the third round. And on top of all of that non-threat, he gets a point deduction in the third for a fence grab because of the positional change. But my thing in this specific one was it didn't necessarily look like it actually changed the position. And trust, me when it comes to rules and regulations, I'd be the first one to say that, yeah, he changed the position, grabbing the fence. He grabbed the fence. That in and of itself is enough to me. But like, if you go back and look at the way it was, he was on the ground, and like, had he had his fingers open instead of gripping, it looked like it would have been the same basic move that
posted up.
yeah, kind of, because it was like he was going to turn his body, and Raposo wanted to take him in the direction that they were going. So it like, I don't necessarily know if it was like full on positional change, but this was Mitch or Rich Mitchell, who I've been calling Mitch Richel because it's just a funny thing to say. But yeah, Rich Mitchell, more no nonsense than Keith Peterson, and he made a quick, decisive decision about how to handle it. So I give him credit for that. And if a cage grab is a cage grab, so on top of being down 2 rounds, he's down a point on top of that. This Azat Maxim here.
Yeah, this one I definitely remember thinking like, oof, that maybe could have been a warning. Like you really just took the point. Like I mean, on a fence grab. Like I mean, and then what I also love about it too, especially when you get the point taken, is like you know how like so the person grabs the fence and they take away the position from the person trying to get it in theory, right? Well, the referee stands them up and then also takes the position away from the like.
Takes it away from Raposo. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I appreciate the decisiveness. This is going to be a theme of the evening, is the way that the rules are enforced, and like having actual structure to it. This goes to the judging as well. We'll talk about a couple of these tonight that have, judging where this makes sense for this, but it's like, if there's going to be a protocol for these things, then it needs to be more well defined than what it is. So I give Mitch Richel here some credit, for saying, look, this is I'm taking control. This is what I want to do. Was it all in all the exact right thing? I mean, hard to say based on the circumstances, but at least he was commanding his presence in there, as opposed to some of these referees who will literally stare at the foul for like 10 minutes and just be like, well, don't do it again.
Yeah, true. No, I definitely agree. I mean, point taken was, I think it was very funny because you always love to see somebody lose by 30-26 because it genuinely is a masterful loss. Like, it's not like you just lost. It's like you had to just be doing dumb shit out there to get 30-26 happened, you
And
know?
yeah, this one specifically, because it's like it's very different than like the 30-25 of Neil Magny versus Ian Gary, or like one of those kinds of fights where it's just like, bro, you were just getting pieced the hell up. Like
Mhm.
that's not what this was. This was just bro was not doing the damn thing and got a point deduction on top of it. So yeah, masterful loss and probably a good cut for Maxim.
100%, 100%.
So yeah, I mean, as far as Raposo goes, I mean, the chat was, I hope, memeing by saying they think that Raposo is going to be a top 5 competitor. I think that that's a little bit of a stretch, but I guess we're gonna again, same with the Mizuki comment. We're gonna just have to see what he does against a guy who's not Azat Maxim going forward now. But what do you think about Raposo?
I think if they were honest, it is definitely some recency bias. They haven't been keeping up with him entirely. They should know
Yeah,
that he's inconsistent when it comes to top performers. I mean, that would. I mean, he's 1 for 3 when it comes to people that are decent in the UFC, I guess. And like I said, they're good names, but Andre Lima, we ain't even seen him in a while. He's ducking probably Josh Van. Who knows why he hasn't fought in a while? But like,
true.
it's just crazy to me. So, and even so, we talk about people that are just flyweights that don't fight like flyweights. Like these are dudes who landed 50, the most is 53 strikes landed by Mitch Raposo. Brother, Josh Van lands 200 more than that. So you should just keep your wits about you, because it could get deep waters if you think Mitch Raposo is the next guy up. I just think he's got a lot more work to do if that's really the case. So
I could not agree more. But look, this could be a turning of the tides for him. Again, he looked really good in this fight. So keep doing more of that and do it against better guys. I mean, commentary was kind of given a number of reasons why he might have had bad performances in the past. I think it was specifically with the Lima fight, they were saying, I think he like broke his hand or his ankle. There was, he had an injury of some sort or whatever. There's always going to be something. So, maybe a full on fresh Raposo is a different fighter. We'll see. I'm gonna have a healthy level of skepticism, but definitely impressive here.
100%.
All right, moving on. But yeah, I see you, Beeb, here saying, show him the rule book. The rule book is not in the current location, but trust that your boy has the unified rules of MMA in a laminated binder. That's how
Nice.
serious I take these rules.
Well, I'm glad you take them serious, because somebody in this matchup did not take the rules very serious. So let's go
Yeah,
ahead and get into it.
absolutely. This is Hamdi Abdel Wahab versus Chris Barnett. Starting this thing off, it reminded me a lot of Irina Alekseeva, the way that Barnett was all smiles and dancing his way to his ultimate doom in the cage. This guy is definitely a character outside of the cage, but the meme might have worn its welcome at this point.
Well, this fight is really funny because the same thing happened every round. And what you're witnessing is in heavyweight, right? These are what the people come to see. They know they can just at any moment they're going to knock each other out. Yet you match up the two most harmless people, and I genuinely mean harmless, because Hamdi was able to sit on this man like he was. Um, I mean, riding him like a horse is like an understatement. Like this dude was just sitting on his back, and Chris Barnett's best defense was to just put his head opposite side of the strikes and let Hamdi punch him in the back of the head, because the dude clearly didn't understand. And then the ref is saying, "Don't punch him in the back of the head. Don't punch him in the back of the head." And then Hamdi gives him a straight elbow to the back of his fucking head. Like, what are you
Bro,
doing? Like,
this dude, it was I remember on the watch along when it happened, saying he lined up
yeah.
that elbow to be directly to the back of the head. I mean, this was like he had to sit there. Like if you watch it back, he sat there, thought about it, contemplated it, and then threw it. It was like direct impact target to the back of this man's head. It was so ridiculous when he didn't need to do it. What my first note of this thing was that Barnett had one solid body kick to start this fight, and the rest of it was him struggling for dear life. This guy was in such deep waters from the very start of this fight. So Hamdi didn't need to throw the illegal strike. There was no necessity for it. He just decided to do it anyway.
Yeah, he definitely decided to do it. Got a warning, which was really funny. Gets a warning. They stand up, which I don't know if I need to mention this, but it definitely adds to the funny context of this fight. So the entire time that Hamdi was riding Chris Barnett's back in full mount, throwing stupid illegal shots, Chris Barnett was having a wardrobe malfunction where his shorts continued to fall off of himself. So
Mm.
by the time Hamdi lands this illegal strike and the ref has to stand him up, obviously it's, come on, Chris, you got to stand up, get back to your feet. His pants are off of his ass. You can see his bare ass, and he's stumbling up to his feet. He's got one hand on his head, and he's got the other one to pull his shorts up. But he's already been struggling to pull his shorts up and tie them because they haven't been working the entirety of the fight. I've already seen his ass 2 times before this moment. So it genuinely was one of the crazier moments in UFC history.
You know what? It reminds me of like in a sitcom, if they had like a goofy character somehow thrust into an MMA situation, like that's what the portrayal would be like, where it's like, he's holding the back of his head, he's
Yeah.
having his shorts, all what you just described. It's like, but this is
He
a fighter actually.
Yeah, he knocks on the door, opens it, and they're like, "What happened?" And then he walks in with his head. Yeah, he's got dude. It was genuinely horrible to see because Chris showed a lot of heart, and you hate to be that person. Like, oh my god, like in this situation, you got to tell people to stand down. Like, dude, you are. I've seen your ass in the fight. Stand down, dude. Stand
Well,
down.
and that's why it was kind of sad. I mean, between rounds, I give his cornerman credit. It's like there's a couple of different ways that the corner can approach, motivating their fighters. I mean, I thought that they did the right thing. Between round 2 and 3, they're saying, "Hey, man, this is for your family, dude. Like, you got to get out there and you got to finish this fight or whatever." Obviously, Barnett not able to do that, but after all of what we've seen, it is like, what else could the corner have done? You know what I mean? They really didn't have many options at that point. Did want to circle back real quick to the foul, though, because this was another odd refereeing moment. This is Mark Goddard, who has plenty of odd refereeing moments throughout his tenure as a referee, and this was no different. The non-point deduction, okay, I mean, it did seem pretty goddamn intentional, but fine, he didn't take the point. However, there were 2 minutes on the stoppage clock. They get 5 minutes for fouls. Goddard is telling Barnett, "We got to go." And I'm like, why? Like, shouldn't he have been allowed the full 5 minutes, regardless of taking the point or not? I mean, like, it's, I mean, he was awarded that time based on being fouled. Like, what is Goddard speeding up the return to fighting for?
Mate, because he's got a fucking crowd to entertain. Come on, let's go. I know your head hurts, dude. I know it was an illegal strike that this dude wound he thought about, contemplated, and completed the action. But pull your pants up and let's go, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You're embarrassing me too. Like,
He's got plenty of other fights to referee poorly.
yeah.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, either way, I just wanted to mention that because it was a little strange. But yeah, I mean, aside from a couple of decent kicks in this fight, there was I mean, there really was nothing else besides that, and a lot of wrestle fucking. But then DC was very funny on the commentary. At one moment, he said, "There's so many different things that they both could be doing to change the way this fight is playing out." And I was like, yeah, no shit, DC. They could be doing a whole lot of different stuff that they're not. But that was really the kind of the story of this entire thing. A lot of wrestle fucking from Hamdi and a lot of flopping around. This was very much what we consider a walrus show.
Well, there's two things that I'll mention here. Shout out to the comment section for bringing it up. Anakin, they cut Hamdi. I don't know if you saw that one as well.
I did,
Hamdi,
yes.
Hamdi has been cut. They kept Chris Barnett, and I'll tell you why they cut Chris Barnett is because everybody shows up just to see him do the spinning wheel kick. And if you get that next comment, yeah, Barnett threw nothing, spinning kick completely missed, but he did the kick, and everybody went, oh, he did it. Oh my god, the fat guy did it. Like that's how everybody. But at the end of the day, I was watching this man fight and I saw his ass multiple times. Like there genuinely you can't be in the like I that joke aside, yeah, you shouldn't be in the UFC if your ass is out. Like, yeah, true. I mean, listen, Manel Cop is in the UFC. I'm joking. But Chris Barnett, genuinely, if Hamdi is doing this to you, UFC, what are you keeping him for? I mean, this is not it. Like
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I mean, like, so, I had as my very last note before I found out about Hamdi getting cut, I just said, cut Barnett. I hate Hamdi and fuck this fight. But so it is interesting to me that it is Hamdi was that the one that they ended up cutting. Now, I mean, Hamdi, he's comes with his own bag of issues, I would say. I mean, aside from being a dirtball in this fight, also popped for steroids at one point in the past too. Don't forget that part of things. But I mean, we had literally been talking about how at heavyweight they've been trying very desperately, I would say, to bring in guys who have a more varied skill set. Hamdi, a wrestler, I would have thought that that would have been kind of a golden ticket to just continue to do these kinds of fights for a while. But I guess that they're coming around to the idea that it's like the wrestling is not enough. You have to also be able to actually put people away. Hamdi not really threatening submissions. And when he's going out there to strike, I mean, his striking was somewhat effective early on in the fight, but again, not enough. So if you can't finish Chris Barnett, I guess that's an instant trip to the gulag.
I mean, I don't know if you saw, but I just want your take on it. So at the end of the fight, there was 3 seconds left. Hamdi sits up and gives a screech with his hands out. Yeah,
No, I must have missed that. Was it?
yeah, for like the last 3 seconds. It's like hilarious. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, it's
Yeah. I mean, thinking that he would have the crowd on his side when everybody just witnessed the same thing and we're all kind of stun locked into like just be like, yeah, that was certainly a fight. I mean, we reference Dada 5000 versus Kimbo Slice often on the watch alongs. That's a common recurring meme on our stream. This one actually did feel a lot like that.
mhm. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so I mean that is the end of the story. No more Hamdi, thankfully. Barnett lives to fight another day, I suppose. What's next for Chris Barnett, Chase?
Yeah, Lucas Dretsky, is he still around?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I don't think they ended up cutting him, man. Maybe he is the next up battle of the low tier.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, shout out to Chocolate Peppa Pig. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Actually, you can give him the dude from the Contender Series that knocked out Freddie Vidal. That'll be all right.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Sure, I like that. Or give him Concrete, right?
There we go.
Yeah, a couple guys coming off the Contender Series that might make a good debut partner for Barnett. But either way, let's keep the train moving here. Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Miguel Delgado. This was after this kind of odd display from the last fight. This was a really good fight, I thought.
This was I up until we actually got the fight of the night. This was going to be my fight of the night because
Yeah,
this was genuinely a really crazy fight, especially because this is a prospect that's coming up that is had two. This is the second of his big jumps in competition. Hyder Emil was a pretty big jump for somebody to just walk into the UFC and get.
yeah.
And then Nathaniel Wood, again, this is a veteran who gets nothing but long distance match, not distance, but he goes the distance in a lot of his matchups. And those are against dangerous people. And now I'm understanding why he's able to get to decision. I mean, this dude genuinely does have a great chin and some good recovery. The chin is great. Delgado is just that fucking powerful. It's just unfortunate he was not able to finish the fight. It was close to a stop. I'll give him that. But Nathaniel Wood obviously able to come back and drop him back. But I thought this was a great performance for somebody who is a known finisher, has never seen the bell up until this point. I actually think his one loss was at the decision, but he, up until this point, we had never seen him have to go deep waters with somebody. And to go 3 rounds with Nathaniel Wood and actually put on the performance that I thought was the winning performance. I mean, Jesus Christ, this was crazy. I mean, talk about stock going up, even though you lost. You put on a performance that won. Anne Marine, talk about her. She's, lost a decision and she is a finisher ever since. But like, she comes out here and gets put on the back foot. Shouldn't even get dropped on her ass like fucking Delgado did. But like the first time this dude has ever seen the stars from the ground or whatever. I mean, he gets up and he actually puts on a performance that wins after that. It's just these are the type of fighters that you root for, and it's crazy that they did not give him this fight. I think I was pretty surprised.
Oh, I agree entirely. I was like, Wood held his own all the way through this, absolutely, but this was pretty clearly a robbery. I thought Delgado took all 3 rounds personally.
I
Uh,
did too. Oh,
yeah,
for sure. I mean, the first round he dropped him, and then he dropped him back. But then they got up, and Delgado still won the exchanges. And then Nathaniel Wood never took the momentum back. It was always Delgado just, and there was actually a point in the second round where I was worried. I'm like, okay, Delgado looks to be that he's fading, but the effectiveness of his strikes and the time, and he he has the combinations. I've said this before. He has extended combinations. He doesn't just throw one or two. He's throwing three, four, fives. Like he's making sure he's throwing in a knee and a hook and an uppercut before he stops punching, and that is what I think were giving him the winning in those exchanges. Nathaniel Wood was blocking a lot, sure, and backing up and then trading on the counter, but like Delgado was mixing in so much. I mean, he's cracking him with a knee and then hitting him with a hook and then, sticking him with the jab and then teeping him real quick and then coming over top. Like, there was just too many things that he was mixing in there that makes me think that Nathaniel Wood, with as basic of a boxing game as he always displays, that he was outshining the judges. Like I or on the judges scorecard, it's like the creativeness and the effectiveness were both in Delgado's favor in my opinion, and the volume. But
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think really a lot of this comes from Nathaniel Wood's chin and just the
yeah,
ability to stay in this fight. And I mean, look, that's an admirable quality. Him weathering the storm after getting dropped was really impressive. I mean, he has to be one of the toughest chins at featherweight, I would say. I mean, definitely among them because this dude, I mean, like, it didn't even seem like the craziest. It was spinning back fist that dropped him. It didn't
mm,
even seem like the craziest shot, but he was clearly down and getting swarmed, and he was just able to stay the course. So, I mean, definitely impressive, but that does not win you a fight necessarily. I think that the judges were kind of impressed with the ability to stay in this fight as opposed to all of what Delgado was doing because the boxing was so clean early in this fight. I mean, this, like you were saying, the extended combinations were on point. The movement was really nice. Like this was a really great striking display, really on both sides, but way more so for Delgado throughout the entirety of this fight. 2 and 3 were pretty close, which kind of sucks because Delgado was doing a lot of really great work in the first round. But I mean, when I say even, it's like, it's still skewed in Delgado's favor. So it is a little bit strange that he did not get the nod here.
there's two things that I want to note with the comment is, yeah, bro, Wood entire image is again full on red. We talk about this often. If your image on ESPN is entirely red,
True.
you definitely did not win the fucking fight. I mean, it's just crazy how much of an ass whooping that he was getting, in my opinion. But he, like you said, he was able to weather the storm and stay in the fight. But the other comment I want to talk about is, yeah, can't wait for Delgado next fight. Definitely going to be a finish. This dude is, you can tell in the way that he throws strikes and the way that he wants to punch people. He is a finisher. Same thing with somebody that we're going to talk about later for the main event of next week. I mean, these are just people who they intend to just knock heads off, and they know that they got to do it in ways that you won't expect. I mean, the spinning back fist is only just the beginning of this dude. I mean, he's going to show you guys some good stuff, and he was willing to kind of wrestle with Nathaniel Wood. He was the one shooting eventually, and he didn't even need to be. I thought he was up on the scorecard, so in my mind, he was thinking like, okay, I got to do something to to solidify that I'm winning, or if I'm down, this is what I got to do. So it makes me believe he's willing to do things that are outside of his necessarily comfort zone or his game to try to win those rounds. And I think it's really good. This is really good. Anybody else is just getting decimated in that first round. So
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, Delgado's going to be a problem. This is not going to be a career defining in the slightest. Yeah,
yeah.
don't get that impression. But I also wanted to highlight this, saying Abu Dhabi judges are the worst. The thing is, though, I mean, like, so you think that like knee jerk reaction is, oh well, they're in a foreign territory. However, on this card, and often what we've been seeing a lot of times is that not only are the referees coming over from other territories, but also the judges as well. Like, I mean, I saw a couple of names that we all know. We didn't see Sal D'Amato, but I think Mike Bell was on there. I think Clearly
We
might
did
have been.
see Sal D'Amato.
Was he on there too? Okay, then
Bell and Sal Tomato were definitely on this
on
one,
this
but
one.
yes.
Okay, well,
Oh, brother.
so okay, then you're proving my point even more. So my point is though is that it's like you think that it's the region. It's not the region. It's the people themselves. It's the fact that there are not as many judges as there should be. Same with officiants. It's these commissions that, I mean, like, it's basically taking the commissions from all over the United States and then just plopping them in different territories. So what you're getting is just consistently poor oversight of this sport, no matter what region you're in. And now, I mean, granted, had it been local local referees and judges, it could have been its own set of problems. But that was not what this was. This was our problems going into the rest of the broader MMA world by this event being overseas. So don't think that it's just the region that's the issue here. It is a systemic problem, is what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
well, it's actually the people that they get for these regions. I mean, it's the same thing that you're saying. Yes, it is Mike Bell and Sal D'Amato that are the people in the regions that we normally expect at good, good judging. But we consistently see Mike Bell and Sal D'Amato's name come up, and we all roll our eyes that we know what the fuck is about to happen. That's the fucking problem. And then they
Yeah.
send them to Abu Dhabi. If we had a different circulation, if instead of this week they had Sal D'Amato and Mike Bell, if it was next week at the Apex and we just had random ones like Muhammad, like the guy who voted for what's his face, that random 30-27 the one time, but Tai Tuivasa maybe what it was, but I don't know. This one really bad judging, and we'll obviously talk about the one later that I disprove. But Delgado doesn't lose any stock here is the main thing.
Yeah, and look, shout out to Nathaniel Wood. He is
Mhm.
obviously very tough. That was, really the smarter play, and this was one I think I was really kind of kicking myself on too. The smarter play was just to go over on the rounds for this fight because, like, knowing how tough. I mean, the only thing is, if you think that Nathaniel Wood might have been able to get a finish, but he's not a finisher either. I had that in the notes too. It's like if only that guy had finishing power, he really probably could be somebody. But it's like this was going to be this type of a fight. So shout out to Nathaniel Wood for being as tough as he is, because he is one tough customer. I think both of them kind of raised their stock with a fight like this.
I think I disagree with your statement about you should have always known to just take the over. Mate, they both almost died in the first round. So that's just
But they weren't going to, brother.
I mean I agree, but like it only took the 10th, 9 times out of 10. It only takes that 10th time for Nathaniel Wood to just never wake up. We could have just been in the alternate. I mean, we're gonna talk about a fight later of a dude just never woke up,
True. Yeah, yeah, we certainly are. But yeah, so again, shout out to both these guys. This was a great fight. Really
True,
enjoyed this one.
100%.
Yeah, kind of nice, bright moment as far as like an actual overall good fight, as
Facts.
opposed
Like
to standout performances.
this is where, because we were still having fun up until this point. So we had the upset, with Mizuki, and then we had Maxim where we were like, oh yeah, that dude's a fucking fraud. Holy shit. And then we had the goofiness with those heavyweights. We got to see this dude's ass. And then now we got a banger. So like we were kind of thinking like, holy shit, like we might have something on our hands here. This might be pretty good.
True. All right. Well, let's keep the train moving here. This was a nice quick one. This was Walter Walker versus the newcomer Louis Sutherland. UFC debut for Sutherland. Welcome to the UFC. What a way to come in. On the walkout, commentary mentioned that Sutherland was prepared for the heel hook. He was joking about it. Oh, what's a heel hook? Ha ha. They're, oh, he's got such a great personality, but he's got these coaches. They were talking about how one of his coaches has, defeated Tom Aspinall, or I guess, had a submission win over Tom. It's like this guy could not have been more prepared for a heel hook. What happened in this fight, Chase?
So we walked in there, a minute 24 seconds passed, and then Louis Sutherland got heel hooked. Yep, it
Oh
was.
my lord.
I mean, what can you really say? Because at this point, I do believe in it. A lot of people, they don't change the game plan because eventually you have to know that your opponent's too wise to it. Heavyweights are not wise to heel hooks. Walter Walker will be undefeated in the UFC at this. Well, he has a loss in the UFC, I think, to fucking like Lucas Dretsky or something, which is honestly fucking crazy.
Yeah, wild.
But he's going to go ahead and, 17-0 at this point. He can go for it, get the belt, and never lose it, I guess. Tom Aspinall, watch out. Surreal Gane, watch out. Volkov, watch out. That's all I'm saying. So.
Well, I mean, just to talk this through, I don't think you're giving enough credit to how this went down, because so like, again, the time was certainly correct, as far as like how quickly this all went down, but the sequence was funny to me as well.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
they're trading, a couple of kicks. Well, Sutherland had one nice heavy land, not unlike Chris Barnett there. Walker gets like a driving takedown, basically just like tackles him. Sutherland is on his back to the cage, and he is getting all of the coaching from his corner on how to handle it. He's looking over to the corner and acknowledging it. He's like, okay, he's nodding his head. He's like, I got it. All right. Then immediately Walker pulls off the setup. It was just
Nice.
flip over, under behind the knee, roll to the side, twist the heel, force the tap. It was just that quick. So it's like all of that lead up coming into the cage, plus all of that coaching going into the submission, just negated instantly. Instantly, it was negated.
Yeah, Walter Walker is just that good at the heel hook. He wants to set it up every fight. I don't think I've ever seen somebody so determined to do one thing, and they're potentially able to do that to every single one of their opponents. I think it is completely possible at this point.
I mean, 4 heel hooks for Walker now, longest active win streak at heavyweight with 4, and tied for most heel hook submissions in UFC history now with 4. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Um,
pretty damn good. I'll give him
yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure. I did want to acknowledge the post fight, the Octagon interview where. Oddly, he calls out Hamdi. That was such a strange call out, considering. I guess it was more just because he just saw it and how dumb it was. I think that's really kind of what that stemmed from.
Right.
But then calling Chris Barnett chocolate Peppa Pig was about as funny as you can get in the moment. He's certainly got a personality not unlike his brothers.
Yeah, well, it was definitely funny. Somebody had said he knows what Peppa Pig is. That should tell you how popular that is in this world. Um, I don't even know what Peppa Pig is. Is it a kids TV show or
Yeah,
something?
it's a
Like,
it's kids a
okay,
children's cartoon.
it's like yeah, it's like Bluey or some shit like that.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Hilarious. I mean, why Peppa Pig? I don't know, but chocolate Peppa Pig is what he is. I mean,
Look it up and you'll see the accuracy.
okay, well, all right, fair.
But yeah, I mean that really is about it. I did want to acknowledge this, as always. Anakin cooking in the chat saying Louis Sutherland looked like he was out of the Kentucky State Fair. That made me laugh. The other question that I had, and I guess it really doesn't even matter if unless Sutherland does come back. But do you have any idea what the hell is on Sutherland's stomach? He's got like a mask, but it's got like a snake coming from behind it. It's very. I was really trying to figure this out when we were on the watch along and could not get a grasp of what the hell that tattoo is.
I think you're misunderstanding. That is what they call a stomach of a fat person. That is what is there. Apparently, he used to be on steroids. I don't know, but the
Oh,
tattoo
is that?
itself, oh yeah, oh no, he was definitely on PEDs.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know
I
that.
mean, if there was old photos of him and he's flexing, he don't look like that. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
what everybody's alluding to, I guess. But maybe he
All
did
right.
pop officially.
Well, yes, I do acknowledge that there is a lot of large blubbery elements behind the tattoo, but I was really more
Yes.
specifically talking about the ink.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't know. It's not one of my favorite pieces. I'll definitely say that though.
And if we see him come back, I guess we can analyze it at that point. But who knows if that's going to happen now after getting swiftly defeated. However, it is Walter Walker. He is known for the heel hook. Perhaps they give Louis Sutherland another shot.
I don't know if you noticed this, but we all realized that Louis had nothing going into this because if you did not know, it says it on ESPN that he's got the Scottish flag. He's not a real Scotsman apparently, but he did represent England in this fight, and then he did go ahead and lose. So
That's what I'm glad you mentioned that. I wasn't going to bring that up, but I noticed that because I had acknowledged that. I had said, oh, he's from Scotland. It's still somewhat of an underrepresented nation in the sport. A little bit of representation, but not
mhm.
as much. It's still fledging in that regard. But then coming in with the English flag, I mean, that would seem to be somewhat sacrilegious to both nations.
Right, yeah, no, he definitely lost our faith when he did that, and then he got heel hooked in a minute and a half. So it is what it is.
Stock dropping by the second. Well, we'll see if he comes back. But shout out to Walter Walker for doing the damn thing time and time again. Can he pull off 5 in a row? Is going to be the big question. And if he does that, that would be absolute madness, bananas.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, let's keep the train moving here. Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rambecki. Every Rambecki fight is a war, and this one was no different.
I give Ludovic Klein a lot of credit. After the Gamrot fight, I really didn't believe that he was going to be a top contender, and maybe I necessarily still don't, um, because everybody goes to war with Rubetsky, and shout out to him. He knows how to make every fight a war. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't necessarily know yet, but he is fun. So came in with a shaved head, and he did what he does, whereas he gets punched in the face a fuck ton and then he walks forward. He didn't have as many feints as he normally does. He actually didn't look as scary as a person to walk you down because when you watched his last performance, he was feinting a lot, and he was put a lot of forward pressure. And this one he had the forward pressure, but he wasn't making Ludovic think as much as he normally had other fighters. I think he was playing Ludovic's game a little too much. Ludovic's range was really good, and he has super long arms, so he was able to just keep Rebecki at perfect range. And yeah, I mean, striking Ludovic Klein is pretty good. I'll give him that. Striking is really good.
Well, and that was what I was gonna say is that it's like it's not even about him not trying to walk him down and get him off base and shook, but it was just Klein with the nice movement and the good sharpshooting. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what I noticed here. This was kind of like an overwhelming brawler versus precision striker from Rombechki and Klein respectively, and it kind of paid dividends at least through those first two rounds. I mean, the problem with Rombechki and like I mean this guy is like he's one of my favorites really because he's just one of those dudes that goes in there and puts everything on the line every fight. But the problem is that being one tough punching bag does not win you a fight, at least not through two rounds. I've often called it Felicia Spencer syndrome. Going harkening back to my favorite tough
Is this
punching bag.
something you've often said? I don't
I
know if I've
have.
ever heard that name before.
Go back and rewatch the VODs, buddy. I
Okay.
have certainly talked about Felicia Spencer syndrome before, but it's basically just, I call him a Felicia. It's, it's you going in there and being one tough punching bag does not get you the fight. I mean, his cheek was exploded halfway through the second round. Just, I mean, the optics are not great with Rombechki because he gets touched up so much. There's so much scar tissue. This guy is bleeding out, like Nate Diaz times 3. I mean,
Yeah, Anakin is saying that exact thing. The scar tissue's making him lose fights. I
yeah.
definitely kind of agree that he bleeds way too much, but I don't think, and this is we're obviously going to talk about this later, and we're going to touch on it. But I think Rebecki is just one of those fighters that they're even you could compromise him as much as you want, and he's still gonna just go in there and fight through it. I mean, the amount of blood that was seeping from this guy's head in this fight was pretty crazy. What was actually really funny at a certain point is it just stopped. So he was leaking all over Ludovic Klein, and and then at a certain point, because you could see it dripping into puddles onto the mat, and then at a certain point, it just stopped dripping. Like it was like he had lost all of the remaining blood that you could lose from the scar tissue spot. Like it was genuinely impressive how much he was bleeding. Like it made me think, like, holy shit, his head has been drained of all the blood that you could possibly lose, and
Legit.
and he was still fighting. That's the craziest part. Is like I understand that you could do a lot of things with adrenaline. Rebecki is one of those dudes also. Like, I mean, he'll feel it tomorrow, but as of right now, I got a fight to win, guys. I'm trying to be a badass. I want to make Chase happy. Is basically how he goes out there and fights, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, same. I mean, like I really every fight, I'm always looking forward to his fights because they always are these attrition wars, slugfesty deals. But it's just again, it's not equaling up to the victory, and that's what worries me about him.
You never need it to, though. Like you brought up Nate Diaz. I mean, that dude's a UFC legend. I mean, Rebecki is not necessarily the level of that, but he is a Polish legend for sure. And that's all he probably ever intended to be. I mean, you just need to be able to set the standard for other people to want to strive and be better. Rebecki has proven that you could be a fucking Chad and people will root for you. So.
I mean, I'd like to be able to actually cash on a parlay with him on it every once in a while, though. But
You just
still.
got to go split decision, mate. Majority right here. Look, split or majority decision. I'm telling you. Just
True. And I mean, look, yeah, win, lose, or otherwise, it was very impressive that this dude, went through everything that he went through, and his opponent, who ended up winning the fight, had to accept his victory sitting on the stool. I think that the funny note that I had was that when DC was interviewing Ludovic Klein, he looked like a ventriloquist because he was sitting down there on one knee. With a microphone, and it really the visual was very funny. Him kneeling down with Klein on the stool. But I mean, this is what Rombechki does to people. He puts them through hell. Win, lose, or otherwise, it is going to be a firefight.
Nate, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you fucking brought it up. We witnessed a guy win a fight with a broken fucking leg.
Yo,
And then we're going to talk about some things later in this card. But, that's all that I would like to mention about this one. Ludovic Ludovic Klein definitely earned some stock. Like I said, broken fucking leg and was able to finish a fight. Nathan Fletcher was one of these people that could finish a fight with a broken leg, and then he got kicked in the stomach and obviously was done after that. So Ludovic was able to, fight past that. And this one, hopefully there's better things to come. Gamrot was just bad matchup.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, just to finish out here, Anakin saying that Rumbetsky could have won in the third round. If you go back to the VOD, I was screaming in that third round when he was landing those heavy elbows from the top. I was like, brother, dig deep. You can do this. It was like it would have been such a beautiful turnaround if he was able to finish that fight, but just came up a little bit too short. And I mean, I don't even necessarily think it was all because of the ankle break. I mean, like it probably had something to do with it. Of course, obviously the movement, but really, I just think that Rombetsky, it's the entirety of the package. It's all the damage from before. It's the gassing out, but still trying to push past it throughout the entirety of the fight. Like it's all of those factors that just had him like one step before being able to actually full on finish it. Because if he had just been able to stay the course with those elbows, we could be having a whole different conversation.
100%. Yeah, but do we even need to be? I mean, we talked about the fight. We obviously know that he's one of these game fighters that is going to put on a performance. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses at this point. I mean, you're not looking at Mateusz Rumbetsky's record. Like, you don't care. I mean,
Oh,
so
yeah. I mean, he is must see TV as far as I'm
yeah.
concerned. Anytime that Rombetsky is fighting, you need to be glued.
And what's great about Rebechki is he's somebody that flies under the radar of the UFC's marketing because not many people are gonna care to have him on the main card of a pay-per-view. So you get to watch this dude for the regular subscription prices and on HD TV, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus here coming soon. He's the dude that you can show up to the prelims for and know that you're gonna get the fight of the night, basically. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
here we go again, the fight of the night. So
absolutely. And I was going to say, we're going away from the pay-per-view model. You get, just very, very briefly, we did talk about that on the watch along, how interesting it's going to be to see what the makeup of these cards are. I think that we might have talked about this on the show. I don't remember, but saying that like, you can like, because there are no more like pay-per-views, no actual like pay-per-view incentive anymore with the Paramount deal. It's going to be interesting to see if they spread out the quality of the fights and the top name talent and whatever. Like you could have like pay-per-view quality fights headlining every card now if you wanted to, really. I mean, like the same way, like not every one needs to be a title fight, but like the same way that you would have like a title fight and then like a really banger co-main, you could have that co-main be the main event for all of the like anywhere on these events now, because pay-per-view doesn't matter anymore. So
yeah, you make good points. I think Anakin just made a really good point. Rebechki is doing great things for Poland, bringing entertainment, unlike Gamrot. I just realized Ludovic Klein fought two Polish people back to back. That's kind of, and there's not that many Polish people. It's not like you fought two Brazilians back to back. It's like fighting two Polish lightweights back to back. Kind of interesting. There's something they
yeah.
wanted him to get his revenge. I don't
So
know.
like a Slovakian, Polish,
Yeah,
maybe,
what's
I don't
going
know. I don't
on
know, but
there?
yeah, I don't know if there's like some geopolitics that we don't know about with that. But either way, shout out to Ludovic Klein. Really a solid performance through those first two. Third round was definitely hard to get through, and he got through it. So
Yeah,
good deal.
100%.
All right, let's talk this one through real quick. This is Ikram Alaskirov versus Jun Young Park, the Iron Turtle. This was really kind of like one of those like one long round kind of fights. It felt like. I mean, kind of slow, kind of plotty. Ikram not really getting the heavy power shots off that people were expecting from him. Either that or it's the early ones. Just Park was able to eat and navigate, but okay performance for Ikram, I would say. Not like amazing. The Turtle's a tough guy, but he really wasn't doing enough in this fight either. This was an underwhelming fight, I would say.
I remember it was literally maybe an hour or two after the card. I said, I genuinely can't, like, what did Ikram and Park fight like? Like, I sat here and watched it, but like, I couldn't remember a single sequence. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember a single like big moment. I remember Ikram was gassing a little bit, but he was still convincingly winning. Like, I mean, it was I don't know, like, this was supposed to be the performance where, he gets taken into deep water, and yeah, he was tired and he had to fight to the 3rd round, but, like, Park was and it's weird because Park is normally that guy that'll take you into those, the moments where we find out if you're a fighter or not, but he just didn't in this one. I'm not too sure what happened here. Miscalculation on the matchmakers, I guess, because you gotta have specific styles that get people going, and I don't, and I think they thought Ikram was going to be more of a force. Park was going to have the forward pressure, but Ikram was going to stand his ground. And I think Ikram did a lot of backing up in this one. And whatever.
No, that's I think you're exactly right. I think that that's what it was like you said. I mean, Park is exactly the guy that you described, the dude who's going to be like, separating your quality level. And they thought that Ikram was of that quality. I mean, he's coming off of an effortless knockout of Andre Muniz in his last fight. So, this was supposed to be like, okay, well, if you can do that against the guy that got cut, that we know is a little bit of a glass chin, let's see if you can do it against an actual tough guy over here in Park, who, very tough. But just not able to do it, and didn't even really feel like he was going for it in that way. So it really kind of, both of them, it's exactly like what you're describing. It's like both of them were just like a level below what they normally were, like what they normally operate at. Because Turtle, he really responds, like he matches the energy, he mirrors his opponents in a lot of ways, like at least in the intensity. So if you're going like full speed, he will match you full speed. But like right here, it was kind of like they both were just sort of like hovering in that middle territory and comfortable there in a way that was less than satisfying to watch.
Yeah, that it definitely, because I don't know. Park is definitely one of those guys, and he represents Korea very well. When I talk about a specific stereotype of people who really just go for it, like they don't think too much about it. They don't have, at a certain point, there's no game plan. The plan is to be game. I just kind of barred right there. That was a good one, and. Park he's one of those guys that needs to get punched up a few times before he kind of kicks it into overdrive, but I don't think he ever really got the strike that made him think like, okay, I'm losing the fight now. I think it was just a coasting to potentially him being like, why did I lose 3 rounds? Like, it was close enough where, he maybe thought he was close because there was, Ikram wasn't doing anything other than just peppering shots and I mean, nothing crazy. I don't know. This one,
Yeah.
like I said, can't remember too much that happened here for real.
Yeah, no, I mean, a grudgy, sluggy sort of affair. I mean, I guess if there was anything that I could highlight, I thought that Park was doing a good job early in the fight. He was, in the sense that he was sneaking a lot of good shots over the top of Ikram's guard, which, is like the way that Ikram was holding his hands. Like that was a good move to like kind of, get him off of his guard a little bit, and then B, hopefully land with a little bit of power. But it's really hard to generate power when you're coming up and over with a high guard. So it was like, it was a good move. It was a good attempt, but like it didn't really do too much. And then aside from that, yeah, I mean, just kind of back and forth. There was a moment in the second round that stood out when Ikram had Park in this kind of odd ankle hold against the cage. Like Park was kind of on one knee, and Ikram was holding his ankle, and kind of for like from the side to the back, and Park just really wasn't capitalizing on the open hands at all. Like he wasn't really striking, and it was, so it's like there were moments where there could have been differences, kind of highlighting what DC had said in the Barnett fight. There are things that both these guys could have been doing to make it not this fight, and that really applies here. I think both of them just did not take advantage of what their opponent was giving them at any given time. So it just turned into a really sluggy, grudgy, sort of plotting performance on both sides. And, I think that the takedown in the end for Ikram sort of just sealed the deal. Park was really upset with himself after this fight. And I was kind of like, man, I mean, you were there too, brother. I mean, like you saw everything that was going on. Like this, like this could have been Park's opportunity to show that he is not going to be the reactionary fighter, that he is a take charge, take the initiative fighter, but he didn't do that. So, I mean, this was a 30-27 for Ikram, but I said this was the most okayest 30-27 that there ever was.
I think I remember this point too that Anakin's talking about where Park had him in a hold, and I remember saying like knee him in the like, what are you doing? And then he just like sat him down. Like I don't know, it was or pushed him up against the cage is actually I think what he did, which was really stupid. But yeah, no, this one was so meh, so
Yeah,
meh.
yeah, it really was, and as forgettable as you were kind of alluding to, it's like this was one that if you didn't have the card in front of you, you forget all about it after it's done.
And if we didn't, break these down and talk about them and have an extended dialogue that we're going to remember, people, and unlike us, they're going to go in here and be like, well, Ikram, he had a war with it's Young Sung Park. Like surely he went to
Thir
war with
30,
it.
27, he must have annihilated him.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just is what it is. That's how
Which
it
is
goes.
and that is exactly why you need to listen and tune in every Monday for last week's fights. We give you the real deal.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, speaking of the real deal, let's move on to the featured prelim here. This is Nasrat Haqparast versus Quillan Salkild. I did not realize that Salkild was in on 10 days' notice for this fight, coming in and getting potentially a knockout of the year contender.
This is not 10 days notice. No way.
That's what
If
he
they
that's what he said.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. It's this shit's been signed, I'm pretty sure, for a while now.
He said he was coming in on short notice. He said 10 days in his post fight.
I don't know if that's true, but if it is, either way, I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to sound like a hater because I'm on the
Look, I don't
South
care.
kid.
I don't care if this
I'm
was
on the
booked
train.
last year. I mean, you know what I mean? Who cares? When you get a knockout like this, it's like, yeah, this could have been signed from his birth, but whatever.
What I want to say is, and this is before I tell you how much of a fan I am of Quill and Salkid now. Well, a couple things. One, his new tattoos. I did not love them. Uh,
I don't know if I acknowledge them.
the back tattoos,
Oh, okay.
the birds. He had two.
Oh, yes. Although I didn't realize those were new. Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I did see those.
not my favorite. Second, this is one of those times, and the other time that I can think that this happened similarly was with Lerone and Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico was convincingly winning that round, and then he just abruptly wakes up the next day. Apparently, same thing with Nasrat Haqparast, convincingly winning the exchanges. Wasn't getting taken down, stuffed everything, looked good on the feet, looked good and sharp, and then magically wakes up next week. Now he's probably in a coma or something right now. Like this is genuinely one of the crazier head kicks. Um, Fun fact, I talk about all the time that I would go and rewatch a lot of these with my father
Yep.
because he ain't watching them live. He don't know where to tune in. I never really tell him to where to go. I could. It does play on Hulu, and like that's where he's normally watching his stuff. So he was watching this fight, and out of all the things he could have seen, I think it was just perfect, picture perfect that he saw this out of everything in the card. He saw this one and he texted me. He was like, "That was a crazy head kick, something like that." Blah 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 blah. But I just think it was perfect in the sense that how life works. The most perfect moment, the best moment of the card that my dad could have just turned on and witnessed. He could have turned on any other fight and turned it off in 2 seconds if he saw Hamdi and fucking Chris Barnett. But no, he saw this one, watched it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and watched one of the most brutal head kicks that you'll ever see in your life. So
Yeah, for sure. And you're not kidding about Nasrat doing like all the right things early in this fight too. I mean, good amount of movement, a couple good tags for him. Also evaded that telegraph takedown attempt. I mean, I think that might have been just kind of a feel out takedown attempt, but either way, still no takedown happened there. So I'm like, yeah, everything's going exactly according to plan, and then just one well placed kick changes the entire game, and it was a scary knockout, bro. I mean, leg twitching and everything. He was out for quite a while.
yeah, I definitely agree. This was one of the ones, and I'm normally not like a big sentimental guy, but like it was a good head kick. But like, let's make sure bro's gonna like sit up before we
Oh
start.
yeah,
Before
no.
we start, once I saw him like, because they had a couple different shots where he's just face down, lifeless. Obviously the ref comes in and he's like waving people in. But yeah, I wanted to make sure bro was actually gonna live before I started talking about how cool that was, because man, he looked fucked up and
Oh
like,
yeah,
oof,
yeah,
it's just terrible. But
yeah.
it was a cool head kick.
Yeah, well, I mean, thankfully Nasrat is okay. He
Yeah.
finally did end up waking up, of course, but yeah, it was one of those ones, and we've seen it a couple of times in this sport where like you get the initial pop of the reaction to the shot, and then everything goes quiet because you
Mm.
know how bad it is, and you got the doctor in there with the light shining in his eyes. His leg was twitching there for a minute, as I said. I mean, this was a pretty scary one. And again, thankfully Nasrat is okay now, but I mean that it was a shin to temple.
Yeah, but what I will say, Quillen Salkid, he's definitely earned everything that he's needed from me. I mean, I'm not gonna say that this is a performance that makes me believe in everything about his skill set. Because obviously, like I said, he was losing up until this point. But with a knockout like that against somebody with so much experience like Nasrat, I mean, Yeah, these are the type of moments that make great fighters. Like these are highlight moments. Like these are gonna fill up a YouTube page for Quillen Salkid one day when he's just a random lightweight champion. Like, who knows? But the fact that he was able to do this to Nasrat Haqparast, it only makes him seem like he's got more and more aura. I mean, from what he did to Anshul Jabli, of course. And listen, and that's just another one of those things. It's like he's kind of just one of these guys that his story is just making itself, like, so he in Shul Jabli, first round knockout. Obviously, that is like internet breaking thing, the do not redeem shit, whatever you want to say. Now he gets this one. I mean, this dude is, it wasn't the best performance up until it, but he made something out of it. So I don't know. It's just Quill and Sal Kid is really good.
I mean, talk about aura farming. I think on the watch along chat was saying that he's got the swag of a 1970s tennis player. I couldn't agree more. This guy's got I think you call that the shag. Is that the hairstyle he's got going on here? Or,
No, that's just some regular fucking curly mop head shit.
I mean, because he did. Well, I thought it was a mullet at first, but it's not. He doesn't have the party in the back. He's just got
Mhm.
a curly, yeah, he's just a big ploppy mop on the top there. But the mustache game is on point. He's got the Tom Selleck all day long, repping for Australia. I mean, this is, yeah, he's got the pieces in place. I could definitely see this guy being, kind of studly when it comes to the presentation. People seem to agree. So keep knocking people out and ride the wave, my friend.
100%.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, moving on to main card here. This was a very talked about fight on the watch along chat. I don't know why this fight specifically. I know that we had a large conversation about it, but we talk at length about everything. This one was getting a ton of discussion coming into it on the watch along specifically. This is Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Mirzakhanov. Not exactly as expected, but still was correct about the basic concept. So at least at one instance on this card where otherwise I was completely wrong, I will say Galaxy Brain St. James.
This is one of those. This is another time where I may not have loved the performance that I saw from the opposition. That is going to make me believe that Mirzakhanov, is truly what I'm supposed to believe he is. But I will admit, with a knockout like that, um, I mean, I'm down for it. Like, I don't even care. Like, sure, let's just fucking do it. I mean, it's the fact that he's genuinely maybe 5'8" and a light heavyweight. It's crazy that Rakic decided not to kick him in the stomach, which is even crazier because Rakic has come out and said that his hand was broken or something for the past couple of weeks, which of course it was. Why wouldn't it be? You're a fucking loser. You always have some excuse. Anyway, why didn't you kick him then? Why didn't you kick him in his big old
And
fat
he and
belly?
he did. That's the thing is, and I that you talk about one thing that I did call entirely correctly. I mean, Rakic was leaning on the kicks early. I mean, this is exactly the game plan. Was you fight Rakic, you know what you're getting with that. The one thing I did think was a little interesting was I did not expect him to initiate the wrestling, but he went for a level change, didn't do anything with it. Mirzakhanov able to break out of the clinch really, steadily. So I mean, it wasn't something that changed the course, but you could see that he was trying to do some things differently. Yeah, I mean, Mirzakhanov ends up getting or trying navigating through the single leg attempt. That's what I'm saying. Rakic going for a couple of things that I wasn't expecting, but the kicks were there early on. It was just the game plan wasn't, I guess, working how he thought it was going to work, and then he was trying some different shit, and it also was not working. And then also the chin was a problem. So I mean,
And
it's many problems.
yeah, and then of course, obviously, we didn't get very far into this fight before what happened happens. Alexander Rakic gets chinned. I'm pretty sure people say it was a jab. I didn't watch it over again because what I witnessed after the shot that knocked Rakic down makes me like it just makes me cringe because this dude talk about listen.
Accepting is what it was.
I don't want to say certain terms because I know people are going to get butthurt, but the fact that you look up at your opposition after you've been knocked down and your option, arms are crazy because they can do different things, right? The same amount of movement that it takes to do this, it's like the same movement to like do that. Like, isn't that crazy? It's just rotation. You just got to do different stuff. So, we talked about on the Contender Series, that dude, that I don't think it was the Peruvian, but he had gotten knocked down, and his first instinct was back to the cage because I've been here before. I know what to do. Alexander Rakic looked as if he has never been knocked down in his life, let alone seen any sort of adversity. And what I think is really funny about this performance too, and I think this is where Mirzakhanov gained my respect, and the aura for me is where I bought in, is because he's looking down at Rakic and he says, "Talk now, talk some shit now, whatever you want." And then Rakic gets up like he's gonna do something, mate. You just got obliterated, but what are you gonna go?
Nah, he was going to try to shake his hand. He thought he was coming over to dap him up.
I get that, but also the way that it was from Mirzakhanov's point of view, talk now, then you step up to me. And then he gave him like would you want to go again kind of deal. And I thought it was a really good aura moment for Mirzakhanov, especially being a literal midget. Like, it's
Well,
crazy a light heavyweight.
I mean, that part, I think that's where it all stemmed from, because I did have that in the notes, that Mirzakhanov with the asshole barking at Rakic after the knockout. I was like, did they have some beef that I didn't know about coming into this? I mean, maybe there was some chirping going on that I wasn't aware of, but like, I think that really Rakic was just responding to everybody having that same assessment, him being small, him being, a guy that's not going to be able to fare well in the division. He still is undefeated and was coming into this fight, obviously. So, I think that there was just like a little bit of a chip on the shoulder maybe for that. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass, but not too much, because it was kind of an asshole thing after you just knocked this guy out. But going back to your point about Rakic on the ground, yeah, I mean, he accepted, and that was, I mean, I want to also be a little bit, devil's advocate here and say, if he was that rocked, then, perhaps there was something else. But I mean, it was just, yeah, he immediately shelled up, no panic wrestling, just kind of folded after getting dropped by the straight right. So, I mean, I've been saying this about Rakic forever. And this, you want to mark my words, go back to previous episodes. Rakic has always been a dude who has not impressed me, even though he has had good moments against top guys. Everybody keeps bringing up the Yuri fight. Like, that's a good barometer of anything. It's like you had said on the last episode, Yuri gets beat until he wins all the time. So, I don't think you can go off of that. And the other fights that I've seen from Rakic, it's just, he's just not it. He's probably good enough to be high middle tier. And this is a perfect example of it. You're just seeing it in action. And then, of course, the finish on top of it does not help any of what we're talking about.
Yeah, this one was pretty stupid because, like, I mean, I don't even want to say too much, man, because Rakic doesn't deserve many more opinions. I think that was just a very like what I saw against Yuri. I mean, I saw this dude turn his back and run away from him. I mean, I would too. I mean, Yuri's a scary man, but like, you were winning the fight, and then the moment you're not, you are running for your life. And like, that's not necessarily the way that you should put it, but like, you were stumbling away from adversity is the way that I would put it. And in this one, you put your hands over your head and didn't want to get extra shots from Mirzakhanov. Like, if you were willing to grapple with him, grab that fucking leg, trip him or something. Where's the work on your back? If you were willing to grapple with him, did we not train anything off our back? I know, again, you were dazed, and I'm sure you're going to hear that he said he had norovirus, which apparently just spawned into existence.
Right.
Um, just crazy. I don't know. So
Yeah.
and I'm not actually. I know you laughed at that. That's literally what he said. He said
Oh, did he
norovirus.
really? He
Yeah.
said that too? Oh, because I thought you were memeing after Rainier de Ritter.
No, it's the same thing with Rene de Ritter. I mean, the dude said he had a broken hand, and he had this. And what neurovirus is, by the way, it's the stomach flu.
Yes, yeah,
So
it's food poisoning.
so people want to try to act all fucking fancy and scientific about this shit. Like, mate, you just ate bad food in Abu Dhabi. I mean, whatever. I don't know. So yes, it's crazy.
I mean, go out there, shit your pants, and still win a fight. That's an even crazier story, plus a victory on top of it. So,
Yeah, true.
anyway, yeah, no, it is what it is over here. Mirzakhanov remains undefeated. I did see Anakin coming in thinking that Rakic needs to go to heavyweight. Brother, if his chin is that way at light heavyweight, he is going to get obliterated at heavyweight. So, just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah, fair.
So anyway, all right, let's keep it moving, I guess. All right, this one was an interesting one. A lot of opinions, I'm sure, on this one. This is Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. The return of the wet blanket Almeida was in full effect, but the judges did not see it going his way. I knew as soon as I heard that decision being read that Chase Parton would be here to say based judging.
Yeah, no, that was very good judging. I mean, I've always said this before. I mean, if you, and it's always a different number, of course, but you cannot win a fight landing 27 total strikes. In an MMA fight, that is 9 strikes per round. Like, just genuinely, you're not doing mixed martial arts well if you can't land more strikes than that. Volkov, on the other hand, striking in a lot of different manners, especially off of his back, because that's where the fight was most of the fucking fight. And what I think is interesting to note is I think I did very well predicting how quick Geraldton Almeida was going to be compared to Volkov. I mean, it was going to be an instant just duck underneath his long ass arms and just grab his waist and take him down. And that's exactly what it was. He didn't have to do it that many times because he was able to just stay on top, like stay in his guard for the majority of it. Shout out Volkov for really just, I know we often criticize people for accepting positions, and I'm going to be a little biased here because I do like Volkov. And if it was anybody else, I'd be like, yo, get the fuck up and win the fight. But like, eh, what are you going to do when you get up? Just get taken back down? I mean, at certain
Well,
points,
that's literally what happened.
well, exactly. And at a certain point, you have to figure out how to just win in certain positions. And, some people would argue that Jailton won this fight, but like I'm one of those people that would say Volkov won the fight. And this is a decision that I didn't think was going to happen, but it's good that it did. And, you can't really, you win some, you lose some with the judging.
Well, yeah, I
Humans,
mean, so this is the big issue here, I think, is that it's like by the letter of the unified rules, this was the correct call. But what we see time and time again is control being factored in more heavily than damage. And that is incorrect. So if this was consistently applied, this is the theme of all of this is consistency. I've been preaching about this for what feels like forever.
Mhm.
If you are going, we have a rule book that has a certain amount of detail, but it's not the entire picture, and it cannot be the entire picture for all of the variables of this sport. But what you can do is go by the letter of what's actually there in certain instances. And in something like this, it was good that they actually did that, but it needs to be applied consistently. So if now this is what is going to be going forward for all fights, then I think that you get a lot better outcome in your entertainment value, first of all. And second of all, you get a little bit more of that consistency if everybody wants to adopt it. The same way that we saw Rich Mitchell taking the point earlier in a decisive action. Now, again, was it the correct one necessarily? I mean, that's a little bit debatable, but the fact is he had a game plan and was sticking to his guns as to how he was handling the fight. The judges here had a set of criteria that they were using and stuck to it. I'm like, that's great if it's consistently applied. I just don't want to come back in a week's time, see the exact same type of fight, and it goes the other direction, and then we're saying, okay, well, what happened in the Volkov fight?
Yeah. Now this one, it was just unfortunate. We all should have seen it coming, though. We heard DC say it. I mean, Jelton can't fight. I mean, it's
That is true. We definitely did hear that. We heard that literally on the Friday show. So make sure that you're tuning in for the Friday shows for all of the comedy and tragedy of the sport for the week. But yeah, no, I mean, Hydra coming in, making a great point here. Shout out to Hydra as always. But if Jowlton threw ground and pound, it'd be such a different reality at heavyweight. I've been saying this forever about Jowlton. All he needs to do is learn how to strike, which you'd think as a mixed martial artist is like an essential skill. He is such a wet blanket. He might be the truest definition of a wet blanket that we have in this sport.
no, no. I can tell you who is the truest definition, and I wanted to make the point even before you said that because he went ahead and tweeted his opinion about this judge's decision, and I just wanted to get your opinion if you thought this was him playing a character. Like obviously he's got to stick to his guns type of thing. So Mr. Torres Finney went ahead and said Jailton Almeida won that fight. So would you believe that he truly thinks that, or are you thinking that he's like got to stick to the character of I'm the wrestler, I did what he did, worse than when I beat Robert Valentine. So
I both. I think it's both. I think it's exactly that. I think that he knows that that is what he is good at, and he is going to portray that. And also I think that he feels that that wins because that's what he does every fight. So yeah, I mean, but I think really what if you're looking at it in a bigger picture sense, then yeah, I think that there's a little bit of him that's probably somewhat nervous if they're going to actually be enforcing the unified rules in a way that's a little bit more true to the letter of the law.
I think what's funny about what Hydra said is half guard striking is just as effective as any other position now. So what's his excuse for not throwing? I mean, if anybody wants to know that Hydra is spitting facts, just go watch round one of Moicano versus BSD, and you'll realize half guard striking is literally crazy as fuck if you do it right. But these people are just passive as hell when they get in the guard. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And shout out to CTESPN coming in too, saying that it's confusing because Jalton has the ability to genuinely drown these guys
yeah,
if he just gets struck. Yeah, I mean, this is a skill set that is very valuable at heavyweight. We've been saying that Jalton at heavyweight is like a force to be reckoned with if he had all the pieces of the puzzle. He just does not and will not. Like this is a long time coming for Jalton Almeida. This goes all the way back to like the Derek Lewis fight where he literally sat on top of him for 5 rounds. I mean, this dude has the ability to control the fight in a lot of different positions, but does not do anything with the position. What good are you?
Jailton is one of those guys that'll trick the viewers into believing that he's. I don't know if it's for gambling reasons. Maybe we're going to see a scandal later on because the Derek Lewis shit. When somebody said they truly made me believe that he told everybody that he knew to bet him by decision because he just didn't even attempt to finish this guy. He just sat on him for 5 rounds. But this one specifically is crazy because the fight before this against Spivak, he tricked us all because he went out there and struck with Spivak. Like Spivak was the one who was actually wrestling with him, and he had some good success. And then Jailton would get up, and then he actually finished him on the feet. And again, shout out to Spivak for being game. And it was another stoppage on the feet, and it's kind of like, but Jailton is again one of those guys that is switching the game plan every single time. That we know he's good at grappling, but that's all he can do when he wants to do it, and then he'll just randomly surprise you with a performance where he doesn't want to grapple. Like I don't know, it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of crazy to think that I mean, what in the big picture is a low output amount of damage from Volkov was enough to do it, but with the even lower amount of damage from Almeida, that's all that it takes sometimes. So this should be a signal, a wake-up call for some of these fighters if the commissions are going to enforce the rules consistently.
Mhm.
That's what this all comes down to. So, we'll see if that actually is the case. Also, did want to at least make a passing mention of Mark Goddard in this fight as well, because there was a moment where Volkov, I guess, had wrist control when they were on the ground, and Goddard comes in and moves his hand, like he adjusts the position. I guess he thought that there was glove hooking going on there, but what I said is why actually, like, it almost reminded me of when like the referee will like swat the fingers out of the cage, but he was doing it to like a wrist lock like that, and I was like, just say it to him. Why are you inserting yourself in this fight? I'm like, Mark Goddard doing too much sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. I think I know what you're talking about. I think there was a
It
couple
was
different
brief.
moments, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not. I think he actually stood him up from the grounded position at one point too,
he
and then
did. Yeah.
Shelton took him right back down. So
That definitely happened. Yes, that
yeah,
was absolutely true. I mean, that made sense because yeah, Johnson not do like that's why I was okay with this decision. Generally, I mean, like to an extent, I did say like on the watch along, I was like, oh well, there's your retribution. Dana did say he was going to make it right after Volkov got
right.
robbed by Gane. But no, in this one, it made a lot of sense because he's not doing anything with the position. He is controlling without any kind of attempt towards a finish. You should all like that's in the rule book. Your aim is to always be trying to finish the fight. You should be moving towards positions that are getting you a submission or landing damaging strikes. He does none of those things. He does not deserve the win.
True.
So, all right. Shout out to Volkov getting his win though.
Yeah, we're gonna see a rematch with him and Tom Aspinall here soon. I'm sure.
I'll love to see it. Love to see it. But all right, let's move on to the next one here. This is Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. Um, I mean, kind of went somewhat according to plan. I thought that Bautista had some I don't want to say low fight IQ moments, but there were moments in this fight where I was questioning Bautista's judgment because he did not capitalize on the now granted they were brief windows of openings, but he had a few definitive moments where I thought he could have done more to try to swing the course of this fight, and he did not do it, allowing Umar to do everything that he did.
Um, I don't know. I think I just hate Umar. I really think that's just genuinely what it comes down to.
You're not
After
alone. There's a lot of people that are in that camp, from what I understand.
after a performance like this, I mean, I don't love Mario Batista. Like, I don't like either of these guys necessarily too much. But after I watch a performance like this, where it's literally just one long round, where it's just Umar just grappling, and it's not fun, it's not effective, it's just him holding on to Mario Batista, and Mario Batista just giving a face of like, it's just really fucking annoying watching these fights. Thankfully, Marab is going to continue to be champ, so we don't have to act like we like Umar because, yeah, I'm just not it. Like I had some very very bad political banter about this guy. Like this is how bad it was getting to the point. It's like I had to lump him in with a lot of different other classifications of fighters, and like when once you start just becoming another Muslim fighter, I guess, then you're just already written off to me. Like I could care less about the next one.
I mean that might be a little bit harsh and somewhat borderline of you to say there, Chase. I don't know. Maybe you want to kind of
Maybe.
rethink that one a little bit. But no, I mean, I thought that look, it's smothering control. You know what you're getting out of the Dagestani guys. I thought that Bautista handled himself well in moments. I mean, there was the time where in the first round he had the toe hold. If he had gotten the submission off of that, that would have been absolutely wild. But
Give him that one.
so there you go there. And then of course the nice knee in the second round to the body just drops Umar, and Mario doesn't follow up on it in any way. I'm like, why? That you squandered your one chance. Like, no urgency to finish the fight at that point was kind of crazy to me. No follow through on that. I mean, nothing. He literally landed the knee and then stood back. He like stepped back and was like, okay, what's next? It's like,
Yeah.
bro, I mean, that was your chance.
Yeah, it was impressive to drop Umar and then lose the round. Like not even a single judge gave it to him, which I thought was again lazy by the judging. Like, okay, we could have at least seen one judge give Batista the round where he literally did the most damage of the fight. But the fact that they didn't surprise me. And Umar gets a 30-27, and it wasn't necessarily my favorite performance I've ever seen.
No,
So
I mean, yeah, this was very classic Umar, just all over the opponent, get the back, get the clinch, get to the ground, et cetera, et cetera. Exactly. I mean, this is such a copy paste style of fighting at this point. But I really, I hate to keep harping on it, but I just feel like this fight in totality was an error of navigation for Mario. Like he'll be rewatching round two and kicking himself for quite a time. I would say. I mean, there were opportunities, there were moments. I mean, anytime that you were the fight always starts on the feet. Like the striking, his corner even was saying that. His corner was like, he doesn't want to strike with you, so why don't we try more of that? Like, yeah, why don't we?
Yeah, I actually think the chat would, yeah, the CTESPN, Umar has the attributes to be exciting, but loves the path of least resistance, dude. I think we even talked about that, previously. Is Umar has really good striking. Uh, 81 strikes, I mean, against Mario Batista, who seemed very timid on the feet. And you decided to just want to shoot takedowns, and I actually did like the toe hold moment because that was just really fun to see Mario Batista really just go for it. Like he had no fucks to give.
Yeah.
I'm gonna submit this dude with that. But once that didn't happen, we get right back to what I actually let's go ahead and give some credit here because I think the story goes that Corey Sandhagen beat Mr. Mario Batista. Corey Sandhagen had zero to offer against Umar Nurmagomedov. Mario Batista at least dropped him and had him in a toe hold, and he had two less rounds to do anything. And I think Hydra actually was cooking just a second ago too, close to finished in the round one with a toe hold, if you want to classify anything close in this sport, and then also with the knee, the second with the knee. Batista 1-2 is stretching it, but if you can't tell me not one judge would have score. We want to talk about consistency. Talk about Sal Tomato and Mike Bell. Is they judge the same way every single time. Like they always judge a specific way, and they always butt buddy their way to the same thing. Mario Batista not getting a single judge on this scorers table, whatever you're going to say, that is looking for damage or effectiveness of submissions or strikes. Kind of crazy to me. Not one round just potentially landed on his side. Again, it just seems lazy to me. It's like they didn't even fucking watch. Like, because it wasn't necessarily a close fight, but because he had the moments that Umar just don't have moments. He just does He just does the same shit. Like, I don't know.
It's the fact that like this is the difference, and granted, obviously different weight, all of the factors, but like this is the difference between a Jailton Almeida and an Umar is that it's an active movement of position to position. What I really think is that it's optically tricking people a lot of times because it seems like more is happening than is actually happening. It's the same amounts of control. It's just you're controlling here and then you're controlling here, and
Yeah.
it's just position.
Yeah, I kind of agree. He'll switch to side control just to go back into the half guard that Mario
Yeah.
forces him back into, but he's never threatening a triangle choke and or any like sort of strikes from the top position. Like it's actually pretty crazy that for I don't know. There's just too much to say, but too little I care about Umar to really even go into it because, like I said, when you watch the performances, when you go back and think about it, it's like, what did he really do that makes me remember something that's effective in his game, other than he can take somebody down and lace their legs with his, and then they slip away 2 seconds later, and he hasn't landed any strikes in the meantime. So, DC's always talk about this is what those Dagestani guys have mastered. They know how to use their legs so they can utilize their hands more. Where's the punches? What are they utilizing their hands for? It's literally just to grab their wrist and move it from a posted position so they can try to lay them down. And by the time they lay them down, we've already flipped to our stomach and we're standing up against the cage. So I don't get why we glaze it so fucking much. I mean, I can tell you why probably if I want to make up quotas, but like we need to stop thinking like thankfully, again, I'll say this since I said it at the beginning. Thankfully, Marab has the belt and he's a little more exciting with his wrestling and his grappling. That Umar's probably not going to become champion anytime soon, so we don't have to act like we like him.
Well, yeah, and I mean, glaze or otherwise, it wins fights, and that's the problem here. I mean, like, more fighters need. I mean, we've been seeing it more often now, where the Dagestani, the skill set is not a hard and fast automatic win. I mean, maybe I saw CTE saying that an Umar win was kind of
It,
predestined when
it,
in region, but
no,
I,
not predestined, but the pre-written. Literally, like
yeah,
they were
on the card
planted.
already.
Yes.
Yeah, regardless of that element of it, the point is though is that like they, you know what the skill set is, and it has been effective. But there are guys who are able to negate it now, so it just needs to be more consistently throughout these divisions. Just people who know what to do when they're in a fight with a guy like this. That's I think really just what needs to happen here because it's like I said, it's copy paste at this point. It's a very formulaic type of fight, but it wins. So figure out a way to best it.
Well, I can tell you the funny thing about the scenario that is Umar Nurmagomedov. Yes, he has the style that wins. Yes, he is 19-1. Yet he's not faced. I mean, Bexat before he faced Bexat, everybody was he ain't faced or before he faced Corey, everybody was talking about he has only faced unranked opponents, and I get you can only face who's in front of you. Bexat was a fighter who walked into the UFC and was able to drop Umar to his butt and make him shoot for a takedown in the first round of their fights. Mario Batista has always also had the success on the feet where he literally has dropped Umar to his butt. Somebody out there, some way, somehow, Cheeto Vera is going to get a wicked finish on Umar Nurmagomedov here soon, and people are going to be like stunned. But the sign should be there that his chin is. I mean, his recovery is good, and if he hears Habib yelling at him that he's never going to be back in the Eagles facility, he's probably going to get up a lot quicker. But as of right now, I'm still tentatively going to say that I'm not liking Umar's style, and I'm waiting for someone to chin him.
Well, speaking of Habib, why did Habib try to jump the microphone in the post fight? Was the question that I had. Like, yes, Habib, we all know that you're the chosen Dagestani. You have the aura, all that, the lineage anyway. I think the aura is worn off significantly, but like I've always thought that Habib is a little bit boastful. I think that that he comes off as like a little bit. He wants to come off more humble than he actually is, but I do think that there is a good amount of like self glaze from him. So has to be what that was to me. I mean, like there is no reason for him to come over and then stand on the mic and not really say anything either. He just kind of like had the mic in front of him. He was like, hey, how's it going, guys? I'm here.
Yeah, no, that definitely pissed me off too. I remember saying, "Why are we getting a Habib post coach fight speech?
He
Like,
does that all the time too. He does that in PFL also.
It's actually pretty fucking. It's that idea that he thinks that everybody needs to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, Habib is in the building. What is he thinking after a fight? It's like
Right.
genuinely, we don't fucking care. I mean, at least me personally, Habib. Uh, like Thinker said, you didn't say it. You didn't say revolutionary opinions when you got on the mic. You just kind of told everybody to have a good night and enjoy the fight. It's like, mate, go to the back with the other coaches. Like, you literally are done here. You got the Umar the win. If he don't want to talk, get him off the stage. That's fine. We
Yeah.
got we got women's fucking MMA to watch next.
Exactly. I mean, why don't you tell the Russian government where their money is?
Dude, true, exactly.
Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, all in all, that's really all that I had about this. I think we've talked it through. So
Yeah,
Umar gets the win. Bautista, I think, is probably going to be kicking himself for a couple of those moments.
100%, 100%.
All right. Well, let's move on to the co-main event here. This is Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. I thought that this was a pretty good fight, honestly. I know that this, it's people have their opinions about women's MMA, but really, I mean, you saw a lot of you saw everything in this fight. I mean, they were striking at points, they were grappling at points. It was very even. I had this fight personally a 2-2 going into the fifth, so that tells you how even I thought it was at least. Yeah, I thought that this was not a bad fight. I know that a lot of people didn't think it was great. Obviously, there's a lot of circumstances with Mackenzie Dern even being in this fight. Whatever, that's a different story. But as far as the fight itself, I was actually pretty okay with this fight.
I think this was another case of a pre-written scorecard. I honestly do believe this. Genuinely, and this one makes me really frustrated is because, and I'm going to get into a lot of different things, but I want people to understand that when you're watching this sport, you have to care about the little things. I know this is a title fight, but when it comes to women's MMA, people they shove it under the rug and they don't care and they want to act like it's all just different leagues over there. If you act like this is okay to rob Virna Jandiroba, then you genuinely you need to understand that when your favorite fighter gets robbed, that you shouldn't give a shit at all. Because if you don't care about the random scandalous shit that happens for the pretty women right here on this Saturday, then don't give a shit. And I actually think it was perfect karma too. What happens with the main event is like that's what you get when you want to act like you don't give a shit what you saw. You want to just sweep it under the rug that, oh, it's okay. The pretty girl won. She's cool. We're good. We're good, guys. Mackenzie Dern is champ. We can just move on now. There is not a single doubt in my mind when I tell you that Virna won 4 rounds, if not
Oh,
five of
no
them. I'm
fucking
so
way,
fucking
dude.
dude.
No way, brother. I'm
To,
sorry. Dude.
but no,
Trust.
but
I
but
love
but
Virna, and I trust. I give you this. I give you that that there's that belief there that, but and like, and I was like, look, I bet on Virna. I wanted her to win. I thought she was going to win, but no, especially after the rewatch, it was very close in the moment, but after the rewatch, I can tell you why. But you finish up your thought.
I would just like to just make it clear that if if at the point in the third round, if the striking is close, okay, striking is close, yet you've been taken down and controlled for 2+ minutes each round, and that's up until the third round. If the striking is close, how are you convincingly giving the round to somebody if the other aspects of the martial art, the mixing of the martial arts, were in somebody else's ball field?
Well, I'll
And
tell you, I have an answer to this question. The
okay,
answer to the question was the ground striking for Mackenzie Dern. That was the big decision maker in this thing. The ground striking was what really won her this title, dude. It was elbows coming back the other way. It was her in the seated position throwing strikes. Like she was working on the ground. She was working off of her back. Now, I mean, you can make a case that like, yeah, she was a little bit too comfortable on her back. I will definitely grant you that. I think that she went down very easily and intentionally at times, but she was doing a lot of great work down there. And as you said, on the feet, there were some decent levels of evenness at times, but I think that Mackenzie Dern's striking on the feet was a lot better in general. I mean, Virna, and I think it was rounds 2 and 3. She had turned up the striking on the feet a little bit more. She was winging some crazy overhands, man. I mean, like she was throwing some looping shots like nobody's business. She landed like a couple of them, but I think that Mackenzie Dern had just a more controlled striking in general, technically better, and then the ground striking really pushed it over the edge for her.
I just I don't get how we could have top control, dominance, right? Like that's what we could see, and then the person on the bottom is getting browning points because they're more comfortable there. I literally was watching this fight, and it was probably around the fifth round that we're watching Mackenzie Dern on her back, and the commentary crew is glazing to a point because they were doing this the entire fight. Like you could tell Mackenzie Dern was winning this fight just by the way that the commentary was on her fucking dick. It is the fifth round. She is on her back, and the commentary crew says she's just letting her get her to her back because like that's where she's just so comfortable at. Oh yeah, she's letting her. Yeah, she's just letting her get her. She's just letting her get to her back. I really love the fact that they were so wrapped up in Mackenzie Dern getting this belt that they just said Virna has no fucking skill. No way could she even get her down. No, Mackenzie Dern is allowing her to get her to her back because that's where she's gonna win the fight. And my thing is like how can you be a fighter and your game plan is to be in the losing position, which that's what being controlled is in the mixing of the martial arts, in the wrestling aspect. If you are getting controlled, you are on the bottom, you are losing that part of the sport. You can do ground strikes and they could be decent enough to keep the striking close, but if you're sitting there and Virna is laughing at you, like she literally was laughing at Mackenzie Dern for 5 rounds when these strikes would land. Like it's genuinely hilarious. Like we're talking about effective damage, we're talking about effective control. She's on the bottom getting squished around like a pretzel, and Virna's laughing at her because she's doing this. Like I don't get how that would win you at a 49-46, bro. Like it genuinely makes my fucking head hurt that a judge walked in there, and it was Sal fucking Tomato too that did this. He walks in there and he just fucking writes numbers, and actually I'm gonna let you talk and I'm gonna get up the scorecards and I want you to believe what you're about to see. So just go ahead for a second.
Well, I mean, going through it, man, I understand what you're saying about the glaze from the commentary, but with this one, I actually was kind of in line with them. I was agreeing with a lot of what they were saying. The way that I broke this down was I gave Mackenzie Dern the first round, I gave Virna the second and the third, and then Mackenzie got the fourth and the fifth. And I mean, like it was an even fight. Like there was a lot of evenness for sure. But like it was, I mean, I just think that if it's going to be even, then we were just talking about how damage has to be the thing, right? I mean, this is you're because what you're saying is that the control should be trumping, but she wasn't taking it to any submission positions. She wasn't trying to get her to get the finish.
No,
She
but
was
the
just holding
striking
her
was
down
close. The
on
striking
the
was
feet,
close. No, 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 but
not the ground striking.
they were both close. They were both close.
No, no, they not on the ground, brother. Not on
Mate,
the
I'm looking
ground.
at the numbers right now. If you're gonna tell me it wasn't close on the ground, okay, then she was smoking her on the feet. Therefore, the numbers were balancing out. Yes.
No, I mean,
Okay, so where was the discrepancy? How do we get 200 strikes from Virna, but apparently Mackenzie Dern is butchering her off her back, and Virna is just okay on the feet? I mean, there has to be a discrepancy somewhere if the striking is that close.
yeah, I mean, dude, I think that I'm looking. I just, I'm trying to multitask
Yes,
here. I was looking
pull
at
up
the
the scorecard.
scorecard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pull it
so
up
let
on the
me
screen.
pull
Let's
this
go
up
ahead and
here.
look at it real quick. And I can't believe I was so right about it actually being Sal Tomato being the
Because on, yeah,
49-46.
really, I mean, Mike Bell, I think actually got this one pretty right, all things considered. Yeah, and good call on Saldamato. But yeah, no, I mean, this it's really kind. I mean, yeah, a couple of these a little bit wonky, but yeah, I think I gave it to Mike Bell. I think that I think he called this one pretty
You
correctly.
know what's funny? You told me that keep this up right now because at the beginning of this, I said it was very convincing to me that it was 4-1, if not 5-0 Janjaroba. And you and other people will sit here and say, I am stupid and crazy for ever thinking that somebody
I didn't
like
say that.
Marab, no, just hear me out. Somebody like Marab is another instance where I tell you he wins 4 rounds against Sugar Sean O'Malley, and people will be like, no, it was 46, 47. They're stupid. When you see somebody like Sal Tomato give 4 straight rounds to Mackenzie Dern, but you call me stupid for saying Marab will win 4 straight rounds against somebody else, though. Like, I think, and I said the same thing about Virna, as I thought she convincingly was winning those same rounds. And you could even look at the scorecards. Round 2 and 3 on Mike Bell's went to Virna. Round 3 went to Virna on the fucking Chris Lee. It's like, but on Mike or on Sal D'Amato's, apparently just Mackenzie Dern just won every single round. It wasn't even close. The one round that Mackenzie Dern won on other scorecards, that's not the round that he gave her. It doesn't even add up. Like, that's the craziest part. So I
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I can't account for the way that these judges do things. I can only give my opinion. I had the commentary very low for the initial watch. I had the commentary midway, so I could kind of hear it, in bits and pieces. I mean, like, I try to go into this as objectively as possible, and really, what I was seeing was the better striking coming out of Dern for most of the fight. I mean, I think also optically, again, I consistently am saying that the sport is a lot about the optics, and the
look at
I
this
know, no,
most recent comment. That's
that's
exactly what you're talking about. I
no,
mean,
that's
it's
not what I'm
literally
talking
because
about. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact that Virna Jandiroba does not have technique to her striking, and that was problematic, is what I'm trying to say. I will acknowledge, yes, that Anakin coming in with what I think a lot of people are thinking, that Mackenzie Dern getting pretty privilege in this one. I don't think it was, dude. I am a fan of Virna Jandiroba, and I am an even bigger fan of the assets of Mackenzie Dern. Look at her features. Trust me, brother. I've looked at them plenty of times. But I'm really just going off of what I saw in this fight, man. I can't. I would love to be sitting here commiserating with you, saying that Virna got robbed, but I don't see it that way.
I definitely do, and the problem with it is that now it doesn't even fucking matter because Virna's 38 years old. She's not going to get a rematch for the belt. This was her only opportunity to get the belt at this point, and Mackenzie Dern getting a slippery, slicky, little cheeky 49-46 over her is the reason that we're not actually going to get. Uh, Mackenzie Dern is not somebody that is deserving of the belt as of this point. She's literally just lost in her most recent. She literally lost this fight. So it's just crazy to me that we should have had an immediate rematch and had the trilogy. I thought, this was a pretty decent one, but like Virna won this one, and Mackenzie Dern can go back to the line, and we'll get it later or whatever. But like Virna won this fight, and the fact that I could sit here and be told that Mackenzie Dern won the last 4 rounds straight. I mean, what can I
Well,
what can I say to people?
yeah, well, I mean, that's okay. I mean, I think that you're two different conversations then, because that's not what I'm saying. I
Well,
told you
I
how I
know.
broke it down, but yeah, look, I can't account for what the judge is saying, but I did like the comment that Anakin made, saying the judges we're going over damage over control, and I mean look, if we said it about the Almeida fight, then consistency on that too. Like I said, consistency is key. I would love to see more consistency. This, I think, is in line with that.
But you're making it seem like Virna sat on top and did nothing. You also just a minute ago said her striking didn't look good on the feet. It's like, okay, so where did these 200 strikes from Virna come from?
Oh no, she was. I mean, like, she was definitely throwing. It was just sloppy. Like, it was sloppy in
Okay,
comparison. Her
okay.
technique is not great.
So if she was doing good on the feet and she was winning the striking battles on the feet, yes or
No.
no?
No, 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 no. She was not winning the striking battles on the feet. She was landing, but she was not winning them. It
Okay,
was
so Virna was losing on the feet, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I mean, like,
Or would you?
or at
Okay,
least it was even enough.
okay,
Even enough, plus you add the ground striking in there.
okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. Was the
That's what I'm
striking
saying.
on the feet close? Or don't add in the ground striking. We'll
Okay.
get to the ground strike. Was
All
the
right.
striking on the feet close?
Close. I would say close.
Did she get taken down multiple times every round?
No. Wait,
No,
wait, Vera?
Mackenzie
Oh,
Dern.
okay, yes, Mackenzie Dern did, yes.
Did Mackenzie Dern get
Or
controlled for
sometimes she wanted to be
multiple?
taken down. Sometimes she pulled guard. She wanted to
Never,
go down.
never mind. You guys hear it. You guys hear it. She wanted to go to the ground.
She's comfortable on her back. She's a
That's how they
WWE
want
chick.
to. That's how they will frame it for Virna losing, is because Mackenzie Dern wanted to be on her back. Virna did not take her down. No, she allowed her to get her to her grounded position. That's how you're framing it in a way that sounds like Mackenzie Dern did something other than get taken down and held down. Again, go back to what I was saying. So the striking was close on the feet. She got taken down multiple times each round. She got controlled for multiple minutes each round. The ground strike, okay, you can give it to her. But does that outweigh the three things that was close on the feet? Got taken down, couldn't stop a takedown, couldn't get many takedowns of her own, was getting manhandled in the grappling. I mean, if you want to give her elbows off of her back that Virna
That's
was
the thing.
laughing about, I
But
mean,
that's what I'm saying, though. She was not getting manhandled is the problem. If Fiona had gotten all of those takedowns and had took her to a submission position, if she was, look, if there were arm bars going up all over the place, if she had triangled her, if there was any type of legitimate threat on the ground, you'd have a much stronger case here. But getting her to the ground and then just,
I,
moving position to position, we literally were just talking about Umar doing the same thing.
I just genuinely don't see how we could have 200 strikes from Virna, and you're going to tell me she wasn't doing anything on top, and she was sloppy on the feet. I mean, maybe I'm just not understanding what you guys are telling me here. I mean, Virna was the one doing the better mixed martial arts. She wasn't just grappling off of her back where she didn't throw up any subs and all she did was do a 12-6 elbow that was legal only a year ago. If this was 13 months ago, we would have seen her get smoked, I'm sure. So whatever. It's just crazy to me that I can break down more than one aspect where Virna was winning, and then all people are telling me is because she was able to do some effective striking off of her back that she won. That does work when the person on top is doing nothing, but again, I'm looking at somebody who landed 200 strikes, and you can't tell me that it wasn't all on the feet. So,
Well, 200 to 249, though. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It still is lower. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so where's the discrepancy? Was it on the feet or was it on the ground? If it was on the ground, okay, then she had 200 or 150 ish strikes on the feet. It was like I'm
I mean,
confused
we're
on
telling you,
where this is not.
the numbers are deceptive. A lot of those strikes are little short shots to the side. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
it's like,
numbers are deceptive. I understand that. When you're telling me Mackenzie Dern landed 250 strikes in this fight, I've seen Josh Van land 250 strikes on the feet alone. And if you would have got a clicker on this one, I would not tell you that Mackenzie Dern was landing 250 effective, damaging strikes.
more
Even
effective than
150.
what Virna on the ground was doing. Definitely, definitely, definitely.
How could you say it was effective though if it didn't cause a cut, it didn't cause a bump, a
I
bruise?
absolutely did. She had a fucking welt on the side of her face. What are you
That was
talking
That's
about?
Mackenzie Dern's face. Are you serious? She has a black eye that is bleeding while her daughter is hugging her at the end of the fight, and you're telling me that's the one who won? Like, again, if you're talking about damaging and effective strikes, the person who's laughing at all the strikes that the person on the bottom is doing this for, I am not seeing that you won the fight. I genuinely am just not going to get it.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess then we have to come to a stalemate on it. Either way, Mackenzie Dern is your champion now. So, I mean, I don't know what is this. What ends up happening here is the question.
I
I
know
mean,
what happens.
run it back for a third time. Like you said, it is unfortunate if Fearn is not going to get another shot at it. The age is going to be a factor there, but I mean, I thought that this was close enough that a third would be okay. If they wanted to run it back, I would not be upset with that. I thought this was a good fight.
Why would we run it back? Sal Tomato thinks it was 4-1. There's no reason to run back a fucking a mop. I mean, you got
Nah.
smoked. So why would you ever run it back? I mean, all that I know is I'm very confident Wei Li, win or lose against Shevchenko, clearly sees that she has to save the division. She's not gonna not come back. She's gonna come back here and smoke Mackenzie Dern in 2 fucking rounds. The person that beat Mackenzie Dern by unanimous decision, Wei Li pounded her head in for 5 rounds. So there you go. I'm very confident Whaley's going to go get this title back.
Yeah, I mean that definitely was the consensus from everybody was that Mackenzie Dern gets the win here. great, and goes out and immediately loses her belt thereafter. So uh, we'll see. I mean, maybe this is the start of a new dominant era for the champ, but I would tend to doubt it. Either way, though, like I said, I thought that she looked good in this fight. Overall, I think that, yes, there are some debatable points that you've made very clear. Chat, you draw your own conclusions based on the conversation that we've had. But, Mackenzie Dern gets the job done here. All three judges.
Chrome Gracie could go get a belt, and people will
Oh my
really
God.
they
Okay.
will make themselves appreciate what they've done. Like, he really wanted to be on his back. He was so good off his back. He
He ain't
went to
striking like she was, brother. Come on. That's a little, yeah, I think that hopefully you're being a little hyperbolic with that one.
Listen, people wanted to tell me that Virna did what Almeida did. If we're not being hyperbolic about anything, I mean, I don't know what we've been talking about. Virna put on a great performance. If you want to say it's 2-2, I appreciate that. But 4-1 from your elite level
Yeah,
MMA
that is
judging.
ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I do agree with that.
So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's a whole different conversation going back to the consistency, which we certainly, I'd like to see a lot more of, and those kinds of things need to be addressed at this point. It is ridiculous that we are at this stage and level of this sport and are still getting these kinds of terrible judging and officiating. Like, these commissions need to get the fucking act together already. It's 2025.
true that.
All right. Well, with that spirited conversation out of the way, let's get into another spirited conversation. It's Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Yeah. So, I mean, one round of, I mean, God, the conversation surrounding this, aside from the one that we're going to have, has been absolutely asinine. So I'm very interested to know your stance on all of this. But to think that people have been legitimately trying to pass off the idea that Cyril Gane was piecing Tom Aspinall up to hell is just absolutely asinine to me. Was he doing well in the first round? Before the pokes? Sure. I mean, I would say he was doing fine. I think he was managing distance really well. Cyril Gane was. Tom was just kind of rolling his way into a 5-round fight, is what it looked like to me. I think Cyril Gane was effectively utilizing range and moving well. And he was leading with his fucking fingers. You lead with your fingers, you poke a guy in the eye. I don't understand why everybody is so mad at Tom Aspinall, but what do you think, Chase?
I think there's a couple things to know. One, I think this was I think you're giving Tom Aspinall a lot more credit here, but this is before the eye poke, of course. Tom Aspinall was not looking like he was ready for a 5-round fight. This was not the Tom Aspinall that was locked in for some 5-round performance. That is not what I saw here. I instantly saw Tom Aspinall go in there with a lot of movement behind him, Cyril Gane circling him, and we see Tom Aspinall literally looking at the clock in the first fucking round. Like, that is something that you could go back and watch right now. Tom Aspinall is looking at the clock. This is before the nose break too. He's thinking to himself like, "Yo, I'm gonna chase this dude around for 5 fucking rounds." Like, it was clear this dude was kind of not into it. And then we get the nose busted, and then it's just like, okay, people want to make a big thing about the nose busted. It's like, okay, guys, he's a white guy. We got long pointy noses. These break sometimes, and they cause some blood.
Where the
I
damage?
I wouldn't necessarily take too much into account, but breathing from his mouth, a lot of people who are in training, they admit that's going to wear on him. Look at Justin Gaethje against Max Holloway. It just changes the fight once you get a nose break. Tom Aspinall looked very labored. He started to become idle like very, very soon, and this is before the eye poke. Like, I was like, holy shit, like, Surreal already has your legs moving this much that I don't think 5 rounds is even possible for this person. And that's why I think the rematch is even funnier, is because now, considering we got the eye poke, we get to see Tom Aspinall realize that his game was not going to work, I don't think. And now we're going to intensely see him do the rugby tackle, which he even attempted here and it didn't work.
See, I
But
mean, okay, I like a couple of things here. I think that Cyril Gane came out the gate a little hotter than Tom was expecting, and I will acknowledge that. I think Cyril did look pretty good in the first, in the round that we had. Um, I thought Tom had a couple of nice kicks. He was utilizing the kicks because Cyril was trying to go in, keep distance, and get out. I mean, Gane was leading with the fingers a lot of this thing, whatever. I will say that, that aside, I don't know. I mean, like, I just rewatched this today. I have a pretty clear impression of it. And I mean, I'm not seeing all of the like an evasiveness or chasing necessarily. I just think that Tom was not anticipating Cyril being as game as he was, and I think that he might have had to adjust between rounds. But I don't think that,
Oh,
like it was like you said, the numbers don't lie on this one. I mean, this is one where the numbers are pretty accurate to me. He was not down by like a crazy amount. He was throwing pretty decent heavy shots. It was, kind of few and far between on with the hands, but a couple of the kicks were landing pretty well. Cyril was just working the jab well. I mean, that was really what he was doing. So I don't see this as like Tom like necessarily. I think it was just he needed to readjust and had to get to the stool to do it. I think the second round would have been a lot different, but the eye pokes happen, and
this dude just said Tom Aspinall needed to get to the stool for something to happen. Are you, mate? This dude has an average fight time of 2 minutes. You're telling me the dude that has been talked up to be this round one Thanos,
so I
now he needs a stool. That's just the thing that I'm getting at. But the another point that I would like to make is this is exactly what happened with Kevin Holland and MVP. Kevin Holland got to that stool, and you know what he said to his coach? He's a lot fucking faster than I thought he was going to be. That's exactly what we saw right here. Surreal Gone, the way that he was prancing around, and yeah, it's not normally my favorite style, but when, Tom Aspinall's some fucking Chad, he's supposed to just bumble in there and just magically make KOs happen. But the fact that he gets popped up so early, 30 strikes landed, and Surreal Gone, I mean, he made me believe that, yeah, this is actually going to be a lot easier for him than anybody ever thought, and the people that didn't think this were probably the people, your English guys. They were feeding us a little bit too much here, I think, because
oh
Surreal
look,
Gun looked good.
yeah, no, okay. I will certainly admit he looked good. I don't think that he was necessarily like running away with this fight though, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, like I think that it was a closer, more even round. And yeah, like you're saying, oh, Tom Aspinall needed to get this stool. Brother, I don't care what the fan base builds up in their mind. What happens in the fight is all that really matters here. So yeah, maybe Tom might not be the mythical guy that everybody had made him out to be in that regard. That's fine. That doesn't matter. What he does in the actual fight is what matters. I think that if he needed a feel out round or needed to readjust the strategy based on what Cyril was doing. That certainly could have happened if Cyril had not been leading with his fingers. People are talking about that takedown attempt. That was a basic feel out take. I don't even consider it a takedown attempt. He tried. It was a feint more than anything else. It was a half attempt.
It's just the fact that the theory is, oh, Alex Bejeda and Tom, there's no way that fight would ever work because Tom would just rugby tackle him. He'd just rugby tackle and choke him out. Okay, Surreal Gone. There's just no way. Tom's just too good on the feet. He's either just going to knock him out or he's just going to rugby tackle him and choke him out. It's like, now we need a feel out takedown. I don't know. I get, yeah, this is a lot of people. This is a lot of hype behind Tom Aspinall. But from what we've seen in the past, I mean, there's no reason for us not to believe that this is what this dude is capable of. Once you realize that he has broken your nose and he's way quicker than you, oh, where's that rugby tackle? I mean, Arlovsky got the rugby tackle in the second round, and then you started to realize you didn't need a second round. So I don't know.
Who's to say that that couldn't have been the exact same thing though? I mean, going to this,
I can tell. I will get into tell you why that is not what it was. I can
well, I mean,
tell you.
let's lead into it because I
Okay,
wanted to highlight. We got a lot chats going crazy on this one, of course,
this is what I want to
rightfully
talk about
so.
first. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Gane is a serial cheater who extended his fingers multiple times before treating Tom like a bowling ball. It leads us right into the eye pokes, and they were deep and they were bad. I mean, you know. Was it enough to necessarily stop the fight over? That's Tom's decision to make, but he was not the one who committed the foul. He was the one who was fouled. So are you in the camp of thinking that Tom Aspinall took the easy way out on this fight, Chase? Lay it on the table.
I will not say it in that regard. I think two things can be true. I think a lot of people out there will wrongfully assume that if you say Tom Aspinall maybe wasn't as eager to continue as some others would be, that you automatically assume Surreal Gone is just the most perfect fighter. He's never cheated in his life, and you support him and love John Jones. That is what people will tell you. Surreal Gone is 100% a cheater. I have always said, isn't it funny that they constantly show a highlight of him finishing Tai Tuivasa with a hammer fist to the back of his fucking head? And then he did the same thing to Spivak. The first fight, the first 30 seconds of the fight with John Jones, he kicked him straight in the dick. He kicked him straight in the dick. And, it is what you have to understand when you fight certain fighters, that they will bend and break the rules. It's not perfect. You guys sign up for it. You guys haven't had the discussion to change eye pokes in this amount of time. It ain't really my fucking problem to care about it at this point. If you guys aren't going to make the big enough deal about it, and Tom Aspinall, if you want to say he's doing it the right way, sure. I don't. I mean, you do that outside the cage. Make sure everybody knows that there's no eye pokes going on, such and such and such. If you get to the fucking cage and you go against a dude who's known for doing eye pokes, and you get eye poked by the dude who's doing the eye pokes, are you surprised, mate? Like, you literally are going against the dude you have
It
told is the
doesn't
cheater.
doesn't matter
It
if
doesn't.
he's surprised or not. Yeah, I
It
mean, it's
doesn't. But I'm just laying out the facts. You shouldn't be surprised that you're going against a cheater. The sky is blue. Surreal Gane cheats in MMA. I mean, we all know this. The fact that nothing has been done to him is not my fucking fault. Like, it's literally, I just watched the fucking sport, and I'm waiting to be entertained by the two people who step in the cage.
well, I
So
mean, I think Tom would make the exact same point then. Yeah, it's not your fault and it's not his fault either. So if he says that he can't continue, then fucking well, take your loss, buddy. I mean, or
no,
no
no, no.
contest, I guess in this case.
That is where you are wrong, and it's not that I do, and it's not that I believe that he shouldn't have said he shouldn't, that he can't fight, like he can't see, he can't continue. It is the fact that we couldn't have got the bare minimum of him attempting for 5 minutes. The first time the fucking ref walks over there, I can't see, mate. Mate, I can't fucking see. It's like,
What if he
you
couldn't?
you can't say that though. I don't care if you can't. You wait 5 minutes and then you realize, and then you say,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the
fight
five
is
minutes for
over.
the yeah,
Like,
yeah, okay.
don't as soon as the doctor walks in, and it's really funny because the doctor walks in there, and he has this, the optometrist terminology. The globe looks fine. I didn't see any damage to the globe. He can continue if he says so. He's telling me I cannot see. I've walked away because that is telling me things that can end the fight. And Tom continued to say, I cannot see. I cannot see. I cannot see. And you know what that means is he was willing to get the shit over with. If you would have waited 5 minutes, then you said, and I'm visibly seeing that his eye cannot open. Sure. But the fact that you're sitting here, I can't see, mate. I can't see. It's like, okay, you're fucking embellishing just a little too much. You could have waited. There's a lot of people who go through. Listen, eye pokes happen, and it's not even just Surreal Gone. It's literally an archetype of fighters that cheat. It is something that I'm not in control of fixing. I can only tell you, plenty of people get eye poked. Plenty of people get kicked in the dick. Plenty of people get the cage grabbed. I know that's not necessarily the same one, but it's all a foul in the sport. There are ways to overcome it, and plenty of people, and I'm not saying plenty as in all of them, I'm saying plenty as in the ones who are truly great at what they do, they are able to come back from certain adversity in fights. I don't have the list out here to tell you what it is. Stipe Miocic is somebody that has come into mind. I'm pretty sure him and Daniel Cormier traded a bunch of eye pokes in one fight, and then they ended up finishing each other, whatever it was. I think Tom Aspinall, and I'm not saying I'm the one to just be like, yeah, just I'll fucking go out there and fight with one eye, but like, clearly, we've seen the post fight pictures. Henry Cejudo, when he got poked in his eye and made the fight, get no contest or whatever, you could actually see that his eye was like kind of fucked up. Like, there was something up with it. Tom Aspinall, on the other hand, I mean, he's doing himself no justice by going on this big long, and and this is what actually makes me mad about it too, is that this motherfucker here just bailed out of the fucking fight. And I say bail out of it in the sense because he's about to go on this whole social media fucking run about how Surreal Gone and poked him in the eye. He's got all these fucking doctor visits that he's recording and getting all these YouTube likes for. Is he's getting a fucking paycheck for not fucking fighting this dude. And that's what's really irritating, is that the 5 minutes that all he had to do was wait 5 minutes and say, my eye is not opening. I cannot fight. I'm sorry, everybody. Not as soon as the fucking ref walks over to you. What's going on, Tom? You all right? I'm gonna get you a towel. No, I can't see, mate. Mate, I can't see. It's like you are literally saying the words that mean I cannot fight. And we've talked about this before. I mean, if you are one of those people that just choose not to continue with the fight, like, I'm not here to support you at the highest level of the game. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Tom Aspinall, you can even go back to the clips. I was really excited to see this big old. This is a finish or be finished type of guy. But the moment he gets poked in his eye, I mean, we talked about Rebechki earlier. If you look back at his fight with Chris Duncan, do you not think Chris Duncan was aiming for his elbows to just slice this dude's eyeballs apart? I like Rebechki was fine. He didn't have any fucking problem with it. He was ready to go. Tom Aspinall, I get you got double eye poked. And we know Surreal Gane is a cheater. These are both true. But dude, if you would have waited 4 minutes and 50 seconds longer before you decided that you were not going to continue the fight, I think this would be a different conversation. That's all that I'm saying.
Well, I mean, then, basically just going in, proving the optics point one more time, because the only thing that you're really, the only point you're driving home is that it's a matter of a number of minutes between when he made the initial assessment versus what was actually the reality of the situation in his mind and in his body. And what I'm saying to that is that this is an unfortunate way for things to possibly make a change in this sport. But if you see it at the highest level here, this could be the thing that actually makes some legitimate change to the way that these fights are officiated, because we have this sport allows cheating. Derek Lewis has come out specifically and outlined it all for you, clear as day. He legitimately has said, I listened to that clip. I think it was Didgery Dave, who's in the chat now. Shout out to him, who posted it a little earlier, a clip of Derek Lewis on a podcast saying, I will cheat in fights. I will get away with the first foul. I use it to recenter myself. I use it to get the jitters out, whatever it is. I don't know what Cyril Gane's, what his prerogative is with when it comes to, the reasoning behind why he cheats. Is it an advantage thing? Is it for the nerves calming? Whatever it is. The fact of the matter is you get away with cheating in this sport. This is one of the few sports where you can legitimately just foul people at will. And if the referee decides that it's not bad enough, then you just continue on. So I would think that there is an argument to be made that there are changes that need to happen here in order to make this a fairer sport, if eye pokes are going to be illegal. If you don't like that, how about this? This is the most radical idea that I haven't heard anybody say, but you'll hear it from Yama. You'll definitely hear it on the video that's going to be probably coming out, so keep an eye out for that. But what I say, how about this? If you guys are so angry about how this all played out, how about legalizing eye pokes? Why not? Why not just no longer a foul? Then you get a ton of Michael Bispings. You get a bunch of people who had permanent eye. Jim Miller talking about this, saying that he has permanent eye damage from some of the eye pokes that he's taken. Not as bad as, of course, Michael Bisping, but permanent eye damage nonetheless. You don't care about the safety of these guys if this is the conversation. So then fine. If you want it to be the blood sport, that's at that level, and then this just goes on, Tom just has to suck it up, then Tom could be poking him back in the eye too. Blind leading the blind, nobody sees. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I just don't. I mean, listen, Surreal Gone totally at fault. Shouldn't have put his fingers out there. He is at fault. I don't think and because of the way this ended, like I'm not one to even care about the rematch. Like I genuinely don't even. It's not even going to be marked on the calendar when this happens. Like I was kind of excited to see Tom Aspinall. Will he be able to finish this dude? Surreal Gone is pretty good, and what we get is not something that I'm looking forward to again. But like, it's both of them. Tom Aspinall, the context of the situation is what happened. Surreal Gone pokes him in the eye. Yes, Surreal Gone is at fault. I don't personally believe that he should get an immediate rematch for this shit. He's obviously coming off a fluky win against Volkov. But the fact of the matter is the matchup happened. He poked him in the eye. Tom Aspinall could have taken the allotted time before he said he couldn't see, and then I would be satisfied. The fact that Kevin Holland did the Stonewall shit just a couple weeks ago,
True.
and he lost. I mean, I agree, but like the fact is, when you're in this sport, it's not about the X's and O's. Like caring about the specific record and being like I don't know. Like I feel like the people that I truly root for and the people that are really fucking good at what they do, I've seen them go for it, and like they've been poked, they've been kicked, a lot of different stuff have happened, and they have they have the wherewithal to come away with the victory. And people want to talk about the eye poke and what it would do for his striking, his depth perception, and if he truly couldn't open his eye. um, you know, a lot of people get poked, and wrestling is very instinctual when it comes to body movement. Where was the rugby tackle? Where was Tom's idea? Like, okay, I'm blinded, but now I can rugby tackle him because I'm so good at jujitsu. I know body movement. If I can feel him, I can certainly get the upper hand on Surreal Gone. Just a lot of things in my opinion. But at the end
I
of the
mean,
day, fight's
if,
not gonna. care. I'm not gonna
Well,
care about the rematch.
look, I'll care about the rematch if Cyril Gane keeps his fucking hands closed. I mean, I'm kind of with the chat. I'm seeing a lot of the chat saying that too. It's like this is victim blaming right now. This is shifting the blame away from the person who deserves all of the fault, which is Cyril fucking Gane here. I mean,
Mate,
don't poke the guy, and it does none of it. Don't cheat. Don't be the cheater. I don't. The way that you framed it is kind of ridiculous to think that's okay to just say, oh, he's a known cheater. That's just is what it is. It's like, oh, we're just supposed to accept that. I mean, this is like WWE heel shit. Like, yeah, the guy's going to come in with a steel chair and go take out the baby face. I mean, like that's a ridiculous way to think in the real world.
I just don't get why Surreal Gone can't be wrong, and also Tom wanting the
Two
easy
things
way
can
out.
two,
They're literally both true in this, and like Surreal Gone, I literally again, I've always said. Funny how they show the highlight of him doing an illegal strike, and then he continues to do them. Again, he kicked John Jones straight in the dick, but like I could say it and you're just going to go, yeah, true. It's like there's nothing else there. We all know he's going to cheat. You have to be the fighter to overcome the cheating opponent. Like I hate to break it to you, they're going to get away with the cheating. They continue to do it. There are fighters who are better than the people who cheat, and that's just what it comes down to. Are you the fighter who's going to and the chat's going crazy. It's like, oh my god, he thought his career was over. He's going blind. It's like, dude, if I had a nickel, I've seen a dude get poked in the fucking eye. Like seriously. Now listen, Bruno Silva should be the dude who's advocating over here. Like, okay, I've been raked in my fucking eye 6 different times by the same dude who probably didn't clip his nails in 2 months. I'm going blind over here. But nobody gave a shit about that because he was on the prelims against Chris fucking Weidman. Now, since it's Tom Aspinall, everybody's on their fucking high horse. Oh my god, it was fucking, they got double poked in the eye. It's like every fucking fight, every other fight you see somebody get poked in the eye.
well,
It's always the most vicious fucking thing ever.
that goes back to my point about like that this hopefully what I would hope from this because of the conversation that is surrounding this on both sides of the argument, however you think about this and a lot of different opinions on all sides, what I would hope from this is that this is the catalyst for some actual change. Because I mean, we've been saying that, go in there and poke people in the eye. I mean, figure out which fouls are actually going to be enforced fouls and then just start taking the point automatically. Have these guys close their fucking fingers. We had a whole era of different gloves that was supposed to negate all of this that didn't do a goddamn thing. It comes down to the individual fighters. They have to be controlling themselves.
Okay, it's funny because Hydra just said Chase keeps saying it's an eye poke, but won't acknowledge the hospital information. Okay, dude, I've literally watched like 4 different videos of doctors officially, like they've literally been like, no, there's like nothing really crazy wrong with it. Like it does look like you got poked and it's
That's way
red.
later, though.
It's way now. I'm supposed to acknowledge the hospital information. That's way later. Like, what are you talking? It's just literally the fucking comment right there. Anyway, the other thing that was said just a little bit ago is that Dana is even mad at Tom over this, and it's like, okay, Dana, I agree. He's probably going to be petty about this, and later on down the line, he's going to throw in his shots about Tom Aspinall, like, yeah, now we got people who won't quit over eye pokes, something like that. I
Well,
assume.
that's already I mean, Dana was already predetermined to be going down that road. He pulled the exact same Dana card that he always pulls when a fighter is not falling in line the way that he wants to fall in line. Dana heard that Tom was thinking about boxing. Dad came out. We've talked about that on the Friday show. His father saying that he might be exploring boxing. Dana mad about the whole John Jones situation and how all that went down. Whatever, still kind of I think residual falls on Tom from that. I don't think Tom Aspinall is Dana White's favorite person. And so it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Dana was going to handle this the way that he did, which was also bullshit.
What I think is also key to note about this, if I'm going to continue with this Tom Aspinall slander, he literally was covering the eye that got it the least of the factor. Like
I did notice that. I did notice that.
so it's kind of funny that he's now stuck pretending that it's the fucking right eye when the left eye was actually the one that had a whole fucking finger dug in its cornea. But and even funny too that there's a clip of DC talking about it after. He's like, "Yeah, man, I even saw the clip. Your left eye got really fucked up." He's like, "No, it's my right eye." He's like, "Oh yeah, my bad. It was your right eye." It's like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
they
going.
both got poked. He got double
They
poked. So I
uh,
mean,
listen.
different levels. All I'm saying is that, Michael Bisping is not somebody that I think should be, like, that should not be a norm in this sport. That should not be something that we're saying that, oh, everybody should just go out there and have to deal with this. That's what I think that's my greatest point with all of this is that it's like, I understand how you're framing it, and I'm understanding how a lot of people are framing this, where it's, oh, this is the sport. You got to fight through the eye pokes, die on your shield, all of the stuff that, about this sport. All these fighters, are you good to continue? Of course, they're going to say yes. We've been talking about that on previous episodes too. Like, I understand all of this, but it shouldn't be that the cheaters get the automatic advantage, because that's all that this conversation is signaling to me, is that, yeah, it's just okay that Cyril Gane's a cheater. It's okay that people get away with the initial foul. Like, something needs to change. And that, I'm not necessarily, I don't want the sport to be more regulated in the sense that it needs to be more restricted. But if you're going to have rules, period, they need to be enforced.
See, and it's crazy because I see the chat. You guys are sitting here acting like I'm a big Cyril Gane fan. I already said I don't think he deserves a rematch. I wouldn't even care to watch the rematch if that's what's going to happen. And it's, again, I'm not the one who created the gloves. I'm not the one who enforces the rules. If people took eye pokes, and we decided that something's going to be done about them where it didn't end up in a moment like this, fine, I'm all for it. But the fact of the matter, there's not. And we see people get poked all the time. And Cyril Gane, again, pokes people. And Tom Aspinall is apparently better than every other fighter. It's just all that it comes down to. He's the champion, so he gets to call the fights off and stop the main event because he's better than all the other people who get poked in the eye, is all that it comes out to be.
No, that's not the case. I mean, he did what any fighter could have done, but people are mad about it.
They all could have done it. I know.
Yeah, everybody has the same opportunity to do that. And in that situation, they all would have been within the same right to do that, I would say. I mean, Cyril Gane being disqualified for it, I mean, I think that might have been a little bit of a stretch, but it was a bad double poke, so you can consider it 2 fouls in one. Maybe there's something to that too. They called it a no contest. I'm okay with that part of it. I really think that this comes back to enforcement of the rules, because if you're going to have rules, what value do rules have if they are not enforced?
No, I think a DQ could have been cool. I think that would, like, if Cyril got DQ'd right here, I think that would send a note like eye poke might get some serious if I do it in the first round at least. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, and that also goes to the whole idea of like what is intentional and unintentional. Derek Lewis, in that same clip that I was talking about, saying how he's like, oh yeah, I'll sit there and kind of be like, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to. But in my mind, he literally said, watch this clip, bro. I'm telling you, it's very enlightening. He literally says, I will say that, I'll sit there and be like, oh, my bad, I didn't mean it. But in my mind, I am laughing. Said that word for word. I'm laughing at you all because I did that for a very specific reason. I'm not necessarily even saying that that's what Cyril Gane was doing here, even though he is a known cheater. All I'm saying is that if that is the case, every fighter knows this. You get away with one. So it's like, I mean, I think that just has to change. That's all that I'm coming back to.
I mean, if anybody has any way that they're thinking about changing it, I mean, go for it. Put some opinions out there. But me, I only play the cards that are dealt here, and from what I saw, again, I'll reiterate something that I've seen the majority of fighters go through, and I've seen most of them that are very good to great overcome said adversity. So,
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
all right. I mean, that's, look, we've talked it about as to death as it's going to get talked about on this podcast anyway. So, I mean, obviously this is going to be a continuing conversation. A lot of people, still having varied opinions about this on all sides of the board. Like I said, I'm formulating a video about this, so keep an eye out on the channel for my unencumbered thoughts in that. And this goes down as a no contest. We'll see what they do. We'll see if they want to rebook this. Dana seemed very upset by the whole situation in the post-fight interview. I don't know how to interpret that in this case. I mean, Tom is still the champion. He retains the belt. It's one of those situations that's a little bit unpredictable and wonky and causes problems for the promotion. But that's why I do think that there might be some potential for things to change, because it's affecting business. So we'll see. But keep your eyes and ears on last week's fights. We'll keep you posted on all of the changes or anything that may come from this.
Oh yeah.
So, and I guess with all of that very long conversation out of the way, that is UFC 321, Aspinall versus Gane. Chase, after talking it through, what are your final thoughts?
Oh, this one was just I'm losing my voice talking about this
I
shit over
know,
here.
yeah.
Like this one is just such a fucking drag, honestly. I've seen a lot of people have opinions about it. I mean, for a numbered UFC event, like I said, the fact that we're looking forward to this Apex event that we're coming up. I mean, it's not that bad, but that just shouldn't be the case, you know.
True. Well, I mean, the Apex card I think is a little bit of a sleeper, but one that if you're sleeping on it, you may be in casual territory because this is UFC Fight Night Garcia versus Onama, and at least for this main event, this is a great main event. Finally, Steve Garcia getting the recognition that he deserves in a main event slot.
Yeah, so hopefully he's gonna go out here and finish your boy Obama. Is funny that autocorrect gives him Steve Garcia. A guy that I'm genuinely trusting to be next up. He's had some moments. I'm pretty sure you'll definitely find a clip on Discord if you type in his name on the GIF. You'll find Mahashate. I'm pretty sure it was sleeping Steve Garcia, which is unfortunate because he's been on a very good run lately. Calvin Cater is somebody that just doesn't get knocked out. So can you really blame him? But he looked very good in that one, so I'm really hopeful for him on this.
Oh yeah, same. I mean, Steve Garcia he's been on such a tear. Onama is good. He's definitely one of the like the standout African fighters that we have. Him and Teba Gautier both representing for the continent very well. But Steve Garcia, I just think he is like in that next class. He's on that upward trajectory, riding the wave kind of thing. And with the knockout streak that he has, I don't know if he's necessarily going to be able to finish this fight, but I would think that it is potentially something that is in the cards. So looking for a Steve Garcia knockout is always a good bet, if not, a sure thing.
Yeah, and it should be pretty good odds here because Vegas is thinking that it's coin flip area. I don't know why. Maybe Onama's gonna surprise, but I think Steve Garcia's got all the tools to just keep it on the feet, and then of course the power to just end the fight. And
And the
it's
movement.
5 rounds. Yeah,
Yeah, the movement I think is going to be the big thing for Garcia. He not only is extremely powerful, but he moves very well. His boxing is really on point. The footwork is it matches the hand speed. So I think that's going to be his biggest asset here. I think Onama is going to be a little bit of a step behind.
100%.
All right. Oh, God. Waldo back again. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ante Delia. Delia coming back after a dominant performance in his debut.
Yeah, I think this one is key because if Dalia is able to rise the ranks quick enough, I mean Tom Aspinall is clearly going to have to vacate for the belt. He's not going to fight him, so who even cares? I mean, it's just going to be a tough one for Waldo because I've always said that Waldo is one of these guys that's very basic, very average with his skills. That he can do a little bit of everything, just not anything very great. And Dalia, he's very fast when it comes to hand speed, and Waldo has never really been a defensive striker and or somebody who's very fast with his hands. He's very sluggish. I think, oh God, I hate to say it, but he might get bum rushed, but he does have a decent chin. But the thing about Waldo is in his last performance against the now washed Pavlovich, he was so afraid of his power, which is so different because Waldo has shown not to care about his opponent's power up until that point. So I don't know what changed with him. I don't know what the actual reasoning is why Pavlovich was the one he was scared about, especially on the run that he's been. So will Dalia put him on the back foot and have him very timid? I don't know, but I would like to take Waldo on this one, guys.
I think that putting the faith in Waldo is something that I'm a little bit hesitant about because I've never had the greatest faith in him going, into any of these fights, but he has won a lot of them. It's one of those kind of situations that I think that the devil is not adding up to the devil that you don't in this case. I mean, I think Dalia, coming in, like, we were skeptical of Dalia, coming in out of another organization, even with the wins in the PFL tournament and everything, because it's like, how is that going to stack up? I think he showed that he stacks up. So that would be if he is. What I will say is if he comes in with the same intensity and the same fire that he had in his debut, then I do think that getting overwhelmed is likely for Waldo. And we're going to probably have to see what his ground game is like, which we did not have to see. If it goes to that route, maybe Waldo has a better shot on the ground. He is able to lay on certain people if they're not as skilled on the ground. But from what I saw, skill for skill based on the limited amount of data that I have on Dalia, I'm gonna go with Dalia on this one. I think that the instincts seemed better, and I think that Waldo evading is not going to work for 3 rounds. I think that eventually he's getting caught.
Yeah,
So, all right, but that is a coin flip though, so interesting.
hell yeah.
All right, Jeremiah Wells versus Temba Garimbo. Temba Garimbo back again, everybody's favorite fighter.
Yeah, The Rock's favorite fighter, if you guys, have forgotten about that.
Wonder if that's still the case, you know?
I doubt it because this dude, again, is not very good. He actually went on a decent little win streak now that I actually remember about that. But Vicente Luque, that's right, subbed him unconscious.
Easy.
So that's probably why they gave him a dude who hasn't fought in a year, and his last opponent was Max Griffin. So Timbo Garimbo being a favorite here doesn't surprise me, but the fact it's not a big favorite is honestly believable. This dude's not good. He's just very he looked good for a moment, but then Vicente Luque actually showed how flawed he is as a fighter.
Yeah, but Jeremiah Wells as a submission threat doesn't scream like the path to victory to me, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, take Timbo by probably take him by he's a decision merchant.
Decision, yes.
I would tentatively say knockout because this dude's probably a bum, but decision is probably what it
Yeah,
is.
he's another one of those guys. I mean, he's not even like the craziest physique that we see coming out of the region, but like even still, I think that the physical attributes might lead one to believe certain things that are not there. But he does have enough of an MMA base at this point that I think he'll be effective enough to navigate the fight. That would be my gut instinct anyway.
Yeah.
Um, Wells coming, with like an overwhelming. I would say if you have a double up on the book where you can take Wells by knockout or Temba by decision, that would be a really value pick right there.
I don't know. I don't know if I see Timbo getting slept at this point. He's still pretty.
Yeah, it's a good
He's
point.
still fine.
Fair,
But either
fair.
way,
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that overall, I'm thinking Temba wins the fight, but this is one that could kind of go either way in my mind. So I'd probably stay away from betting on it personally. But for the show's sake, I will take Temba Garimbo.
you know what? This is big brain galaxy moment. I
Yes,
could totally see Temba Garimbo getting Jeremiah Wells in a submission and winning, and then going on the post fight and saying, "After my last loss, I learned from that, and I learned that move from Vicente." I could see him doing something like he's that type of
true.
dude that I don't know. I could see that. I
Yeah,
like.
absolutely, absolutely. That I think actually is pretty galaxy brain. I do agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if that sounded attractive to you, then by all means go for it. Temba by just to win, I think is
Yeah,
and over if over 1.5, I think also would make sense in this one as well. But we'll
fair.
see. Also, by the way, if you have not seen it, if you are a fan of the channel, you can go back and watch my video about why everybody does not like Temba Garimbo because I did an entire expose on why Temba Garimbo is a disliked fighter in this sport. So
Yeah, I could definitely maybe give you a couple reasons, but they're probably just picked out of a hat. So
yeah, I would say, take those and pair them with what's in the video and you get a full picture.
there we go.
All right. Isaac Delgarian coming back against Yadier Del Valle. This is a great fight. I love this fight, actually.
I think this fight, it would, the way that I want to say it is Isaac Dolgarian is one of these guys that 7-1, but we've already seen him, sport the inactive badge. I mean, this dude's been around for since I started watching. He was one of the first dudes that I like really kind of liked the way that he grappled. He was like one of the first grapplers that I really understood like he's working towards something.
Right.
He's not just cuddling, you know. But the fact that he's still 7-1, and I've literally only seen him probably twice in the past 2 years. It's concerning because he's somebody that I'm pretty sure he actually took a loss in his last one, but I could be Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, so he got stopped by Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, and then now that he's back, I mean, honestly, it's just been too long. I mean, dude, Yadier del Valle, whatever his name is, this dude's already fought. He'd been in Contender Series, and then he fought again. And then you just been sitting on the couch after you got a win, last year. I mean, we
I
need
think
you in the mix, man.
I feel all of that, but I think that the issue is that Delgarian is one of those kind of guys that comes off the couch good. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I think that that's the issue here, and especially, I mean, I don't know why they're. It's an odd thing because you're right. The inactivity is strange that they're pairing him with what could be considered hot shot fights. Now, I don't think that Del Valle is that, but I'm saying that at the amount of experience and the dominance that Bulgarian has shown in some of his fights, you'd think that he'd be fighting up at this point, but getting a
mhm.
guy that's one fight in is a little bit odd matchmaking to me. But Del Valle is good. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of skills. He's a tough customer and a scrappy guy. So I think that this is definitely going to be a style clash kind of thing. Sadly, in that case, I think that when it like skill for skill in this type of a stylistic matchup, I think Bulgarian does get the job done.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, could be. Look, if not, this will be a fantastic coming out party for Del Valle because if you are a hardcore of the sport, you do know that Delgarian is, I mean, that's a talented guy right there, and to be able to take him out, that speaks volumes to the people who are paying attention.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
Oh, this next one is funny.
well, who are you going with in this one?
Oh, I'm going with Dolgarian for sure.
Yeah, same. All right. Oh yes, Blood Brother Pride's coming back. Charlie Radke, Charles Chuck Buffalo versus Daniel Frunza. Good Lord, this is an interesting match.
Yeah, this one is funny. This is one of two Romanians that we get packaged together when they come on the UFC cards. Daniel Frunza got
Uh,
obliterated by Reese McKee in his last matchup, and
brutally, yeah,
yeah,
brutal match.
doctor stoppage. He could see fine, by the way, if anybody was wondering, and he didn't have like functional facial structure after that fight, so it was pretty crazy. It was still game to go ahead and fight too, which is crazy. Charles Radke, one of these guys, candy cane records as it comes. I mean, he's going to get finished by the good people, and he's going to lose to the people that you don't necessarily think are going to be that great, like Mike Malott. I mean, finished by Carlos Prates, obviously you can't take too much into consideration, but a loss to Mike Malott, we're getting in the territory where it's like you probably shouldn't. I mean, you should lose to him, but it should be a lot closer. And then, I don't know. So when it comes to this one, I'm just expecting somewhat maybe fight of the night performance of this one. This
I,
could banger
yeah,
performance.
I would love that. I would really like that. I like Charles Radke is a guy that like he has a lot of qualities that make him an interesting person in general. He's got a demeanor about him that I like. I don't know. He's almost like a Sean Strickland light in a lot of ways, like the way he conducts himself. But like he does have those, the spottiness that you're talking about. So it's like you need to be consistently winning to make that personality work.
What I will say, and this is only for you specifically, we'll obviously give more information to the chat later on. But if you look at Charles Radke in the movie that we're watching right now, he basically is, Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
So
fair. Yeah, a little bit of a tip of the hand for the next MMA on film. Keep your eyes
yeah,
out for that. Probably coming next week. But
hell yeah.
yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, there's definitely some crossover there. But yeah, so
Kind
I
of
mean,
looks like him too.
similarity is not lost on me for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, like all of those things, that's all the outside the cage stuff. He does go out there and scrap. I mean, like the reason that he lost to Mike Malott was because he was in there trying to win the fight. I mean, he's not one of these like point on
Yeah.
the outside kind of guys. He'll walk into the fire. Frunza has been in the fire on the opposite end of it. I gotta believe, based on what we've seen out of both guys, that Radke can get the job done here. I mean, it would be. I will tell you this: if Radke loses this fight, then all of the perception that I have coming into it is going to be fundamentally changed because we saw Frunza get freaking butchered in that fight.
Yeah, by a dude who never won in the UFC up until that point. So
Bingo. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, this is really I would say a make or break fight for Frunza, and in a way a make or break fight for Radke in a different way.
yeah, I actually agree with that. I mean, I kind of listen. We often talk about what things we like in the sport, and I don't know if it's necessarily the most ethical thing that I like, but fight for your job type of thing is loser goes out the promotion. I kind of dig those type of matchups. Give them something to fight for rather than just a paycheck, because obviously people will just they'll take half of that shit and go home at the first sight they can. But either
Yeah,
way,
shit. I mean, loser leaves town, or sometimes winner leaves town, like
right?
Hamdi.
Yeah,
So,
true. Yeah.
um,
Actually, I didn't even get to it. The fun fact about Hamdi is he is the second person to be removed from the UFC after pantsing their opponent. Shout out Makayev.
how about that? Interesting stat. That's one of those ones that you don't get a graphic for.
Exactly. John Anik will probably drop that one later.
It is a gem. I do like it.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So I think you're going with Radke on
Uh,
this one.
no, I'll take
Oh, you're
Frunza.
going. You're going with Frunza.
I'm
Okay,
going
yeah.
Frunza.
I like it. I like it. I mean, look, Frunza needs to come back and show that he is of the caliber of this organization. So
Yeah, I mean, you can't really like when I take Frunza, it's not because I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna come out here and do this, this, and this. It's like I'm just praying to God he's got something better than what I saw in that first fucking fight, bro.
yeah, no, legit. I agree. I agree. But yeah, I mean, for that reason, I mean, we have seen Radke do good work in the past. So
Yes. Yeah.
all right. Well, and there you go. Next up is Ala Nascimento versus Rafael Estevam. This fight is going to be boring.
It's gonna be pretty boring. Fact is, opening the main card is pretty funny, but it's the Apex, so what can you expect? But Rafael Estevam, he's gonna go ahead and do what he's done for the last 14 of his wins, I assume, even though I've only seen the last two. He's just gonna wrestle this guy. He's actually, the most Russian Brazilian wrestling guy we have. Like he literally just that's all he does is love to wrestle and grapple. Like I don't know if his striking has ever seen a punching bag or a coach that ever told him how to do much, but the grappling is A1. I will give him that. So he's probably just going to hold Nascimento down. I think what they're hoping for with this matchup is that Nascimento will be able to pull off a couple different sub opportunities. And I think that's what they were going for with Jesus Aguilera as well for Estevam. But I think Estevam is just he's going to be able to just get his body to the opposite side of these guillotines, and there's going to be nothing for Alan Nascimento. It's easy.
Yeah. So you think he's keeping the O then? I mean, Estevam's 14-0 right now.
Yeah, this Nascimento dude is just not who I would say is going to be the guy to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be a skills display in the grappling department. So just be prepared for a very technical ground fight from these two guys going position to position, trying to overwhelm the other person with, wrist control. You
And
know?
Estevam is very closely similar to Daniel Marcos. I believe that's who it is. You got a very high undefeated record from Peru, I believe is what it was.
Yes.
And he's just a very basic grappler, and he just holds people and just gets control time that wins fights. And then he ended up losing it because the control time wasn't enough, which I agree. Estevam's going to be in that same position once he gets up to the level of high ranked flyweights. Somebody's going to negate all the control time that he has with other aspects of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that definitely. I mean, like, it's the same idea of any one trick pony in this
Mhm.
sport. Like you can only do it for so long. So
True.
but yeah, in this one though, I think that I'm agreeing with the thought process. I'll go with Nascimento. Why not? Thinking that he might be able to pull off some crazy shit, but I'm not super confident in it.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I don't know if anybody out there is still listening and wanted to know, but if you want to like the person's stream that has the better opinions, go ahead and do that now because I just took Estevam and Thinker just took Nascimento.
Yeah, we've
So
had a couple of differing opinions on this one and last one as well. Yes, we are streaming to our individual channels, of course. Like the stream that you think has the better takes on these fights.
hell yeah.
All right, well, moving down here. All right, geez, how is this guy still around? Billy Elicana is back again versus Kevin Christian. Kevin Christian, is he contender series?
It does look like he is a contender series guy. I
Yeah,
don't remember him though. I'm
I was
trying
gonna
to
say the
think.
name is not jumping out off the page. Maybe he was a quick finish kind of guy.
He fought last contender series.
Last
Holy
contender
shit.
series. Jeez,
Yeah.
this guy has been out for an entire round of contender series, and he's just now making his debut. Is that the case?
That is definitely the case. Yes, he sat out a whole season of it, and he's going up against somebody who has been very active against some young hot prospects. I mean, Billy Ella kind of jumps in against Gushkov. That was once in a million opportunity to see what the fuck possible could happen. He walked in and made $14,000 for that fight. I hope everybody is able to remember that,
True.
and and then his next fight, he goes against Ibo Aslan, who in theory was supposed to be the first round finish machine, but when he goes up against Billy Elikana, apparently he is a decision merchant now. So I don't know what the deal is, but Billy Elikana against Kevin Christian, I like Elikana for some reason, just because his name's been in the mix. Like he really has just kind of been around doing so. I mean, Ibo Aslan not getting knocked out by him is genuinely impressive, but there was something up with him. He's obviously off the rocker or something. Billy Elikana, again, almost finishing Gushkov in the first round, coming back and telling Gushkov to submit me now. Very, very funny. So I don't know. I just enjoy the antics from this guy. He's the character.
Yeah, I wish that I wish that all of the skills were in place for the character to matter more. You know what I mean? Like I think that he's one of those guys that the story is almost a little bit better than the actual boots on the
Mm.
ground when it comes to the fighting. But he is going up against a contender series guy who's making his debut essentially.
This
So
dude is 6'7".
oh yeah. I did see that too. Yeah, this guy is very, very large. That'll be a big factor here, perhaps. But tall trees fall all the time. It really is going to come down to what he actually is able to pull off against Elikana. I think that as a contender series debutante, you could not ask for a better entry point to this sport. So, let's see what Christensen can do. Christian, rather.
Listen, I tell you what the actual fucking case is. They clearly know what they get from Elikana. They've been sitting on Kevin Christian for a while, looking for an opponent that he could go ahead and beat. And this is who they think it's going to be. I think Elikana is going to get him down and submit him because at 6'7", most likely you're a fucking striker. I mean, very often are you going to be able to be just a 6'7" purely wrestle grapple guy. Like, I mean, you're going to be using your strikes to keep him at range. And Elikana is he's a long, lanky guy himself. So I don't think look at the arm reach. I mean, 77.5 to 80 inch. It's not necessarily the craziest when you think of a 4-inch reach or height disadvantage. So I think Elikana will be fine with the striking. And I think he'll just swoop around, take his back, trip him, get him down, and choke him out. The way that he got Gushkov down, it gives me hope that he will actually try to finish people with his grappling.
Well, now that you say that, though, do you still have his stats up on your side?
Which one?
Christian?
I can, yes.
Because now that I see that he is Brazilian, he might be the extremely tall grappler guy. Because when you said that he's probably a striker, I do remember last Contender Series go around, there was a very tall grappler.
Well, he did sub his guy on Contender Series. He does have 5 submissions.
There you go. Oh, it is that guy. Okay, then there you go. Yes, now I'm remembering. I remember
triangle choke with armbar. Okie dokie.
Yes. Okay. Now this is all making a lot more sense. I had forgotten the name, but I did remember the guy. Yes. So yeah, this dude is extremely tall and is a grappler. So
fun fact.
Yeah.
Daniel Frunza also fought on this Contender Series card.
He did, yes. That was
and Kevin Vallejos and Alexia Theodoro. But
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is how that goes. But yeah, it is very surprising that we have not seen Kevin Christian come in before that, considering that he did. He is a submission guy and a very tall one. That does change things a little bit. I do think that Elikana did negate some of the the submission attempts and stuff for a minute, so maybe he fares a little bit better. But Kevin Christian, an accomplished grappler with that amount of size, maybe a little bit more of a threat than we were leading to believe before I made that put that 2 and 2 together.
All right, I'm down for it. Let's go.
I like it too.
A 6'7" grappler. I mean, Teixeira, they lied about his grappling credentials, but this guy, we got him. We're good.
Yeah, and it could be exactly the same. Who knows? But this guy at least will go for the submission attempts, though. He's not going to start trying to go out there and strike a whole hell of a lot and then just have it in the back pocket. Like, he goes for subs. Like, he is a sub.
He's 6'7" and pulls guard, is what Thinker's saying. Yeah,
brother, those big old legs. Just Teixeira has that spider tattoo on his chest. He is the spider.
Nice.
Shout out to Anderson Silva. All right, moving on here. Timmy Kwamba versus Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee coming back. I remember that name.
He doesn't have a cool nickname, though, so I don't necessarily remember who he is. But, shout out him. Timmy Kwamba, down a weight class once, back, still at the bantamweight is what I mean. So will he continue to be a fucking tank? I mean, his last performance, I was like, oh my fucking God. We got apparently some really fucking crazy guy. He knocked out the Romero dude. That's what it was. And, losing to Lucas Almeida at the time, I actually do like what Lucas Almeida brings to the division, his size and his unique striking. So losing to him isn't necessarily the worst. But now you're at a different weight class. And in bantamweight, there's going to be, I don't know. I feel like these guys down here, these are some real monsters that you can get at bantamweight sometimes. And Chang Ho Lee, I don't think is that. So that's just where I'll leave it.
I think you're onto something there. I mean, Timmy Kwamba is finally coming into his own. I think he was one of those guys that had a little bit of a rocky start. He wasn't getting all the pieces put together early in his career, but it's now starting to click. It certainly wasn't that fight, most definitely. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the Romero that you're referring to, that was the dude that went to war with Onama, who's in the main event of this card. Yeah. So that was how he ended up coming back. He came in on short notice, had a really good fight with Onama, came back and ended up getting knocked out by Timmy Kwamba. So that should tell you, where Timmy Kwamba's level has ascended to. I think Kwamba is a safe pick here. Although I believe, if I'm not mistaken, as well, Chang Ho Lee has some good striking too. I think he's a Korean boxer kind of dude. So
6 knockouts.
yeah, so I was going to say, I mean, this might be a very strike heavy affair here. Tough for tough. Kwamba, I'm giving Kwamba the nod.
Chang Ho Lee knocked out Cortavius Romeus.
That says absolutely jack shit to me. Cortavius Ramius was never of the caliber.
Yeah, I'm gonna take actually, you know what? I'm taking the Korean guy. 11-1, never been finished, 6 knockouts. I'll take him.
All right, well there you go. I'm sticking with the Kwamba guns over here, also because I love the name Timmy Kwamba.
Potentially fight of the night right here
Could
too.
it could be absolutely. I would agree with that. Yeah, this does have fireworks written all over it.
Oh, this next one.
And moving on here, Dante Johnson versus Cedricus Dumas. Of course, Cedricus Dumas finally healed up from his horrific fight-ending foul. What are you thinking?
Well, what I'm thinking about this one is, so you have this guy Dante Johnson who competed at light heavyweight on the Contender Series. He is now tasked to cut down an extra 20 pounds. I mean, because rightfully so, he's making light heavyweight, and he's either walking in or he's a little over. So you figure he's got to get down to 185. So it's not just cutting down to that, because obviously he's not just going to give it one fell swoop and stay at light heavyweight range and then just go all the way down. He's most likely going to have to, transition to being a little lighter in his frame. And, when we saw him on the Contender Series, he's got a little fluff to him. He even said he wants to go down, he'll put in the work. But my issue is it hasn't been that long since then. Transitioning weight classes, like to be comfortable, like participating at a high level at that, it takes time to adjust. I'm worried for somebody to just jump right into 185 after they've been a very sloppy, 205er kind of deal. It just makes me worried. Like that doesn't scream, oh, he's gonna look like a fucking chiseled god when he walks in there. It seems to me that he's gonna have a hard cut. Is how I see it.
I agree with that definitely, and I also think that this is the exact type of fight that they're kind of laying up for Cedricus Dumas after a very rocky patch. I mean, I think that I don't know why they would want to be laying up anything for Dumas. I don't think he brings much to the organization. However, coming off of the fluky situation with the eye poke against Ruzaboyev that turned into a loss for him there. Then, of course, the foul that ended the fight in the last fight, and the terrible performance that he had here. I mean, this is like a make or break fight for real for Cedricus Dumas. After a couple of things that were really outside of his control. So I think that's the mindset. Is it's like, look, you had some fluky stuff, you had a bad performance in there as well. We need to reassess the barometer of Cedricus Dumas. A situation like what you just outlined with Johnson speaks exactly to that. Like, bro, this guy is, he's dropping weight. This is, an early fight in his career in general. Like, if you are about your shit, Cedricus Dumas, you need to make this happen over here. Like, so I think that because of that, Cedricus Dumas probably does get the win here. But if he fights anything like the last fight that he completed, which was absolutely atrocious, then maybe he gets cut after this.
I'm going to take Dante Johnson. I know I laid out the reasons why I don't think it's the best idea, but I'm going to go ahead and take him because I think great people do great things in this sport. If you're tasked with the impossible, you make it work if you want to be the greatest fighter of all time. I mean, Dante Johnson will come in here and look like a god, and I will be shocked. But that's because hard work and determination can get you a lot of different places.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and look, I just kind of made the same case on the other side of the equation as to why Cedricus Dumas is beatable. So, I think that there's a big, what if factor on both sides with this. And yeah, if Dante Johnson wants to come out here and make his mark, establish himself in this game, then by all means, this is the fight that you absolutely could do it in. Go ahead and make Cedricus Dumas look like he looked in that other fight.
Hell yeah.
So, but I will go with Cedricus Dumas on this one. As
much as are crazy I know, for that statement,
bro. I know. Trust it. It is it is something that I do begrudgingly, but all things considered, I agree with you on the weight cut aspect of it. It's a big drop to make for your debut.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, down the line here, Ketlin Vieira back again against Norma Dumont. Love seeing this, fight going on over here. Vieira, a fighter who, only recently she's dropped down to this level of being on prelims and all that. She was pretty high up there very, very recently, and Norma Dumont is a game fighter for a lady.
Um, you know, uh, when you say a game fighter and then you're tasked to go up against Caitlin Vieira, it means nothing because this is not going to be fireworks or anything in this one. I don't think this is going to be two women that are probably going to grapple a little more than you want them to because Caitlin loves to sit in half guard and shit. So
But I
it is what
mean,
it is.
Norma Dumont is the lady that cracked open the skull of my queen Irene Aldana, though.
Yeah, but Caitlin, she took a single elbow from Kayla Harrison, and she was fine. So I'm okay with it. I'll bank on Caitlin, even though
Uh,
I feel like Caitlin is one of those people that are not overly good, not overly bad, but they're the consistent performance that you know what you're going to get. So you just got to plan accordingly.
yeah, and I'm noticing, I guess, who's moving up or down for this one? There's a
This is at bantamweight, so that's what Ketlin would. Oh, now I don't know why they have 146.
yeah, I
Okay,
was curious. It kind of stuck out to me real quick, but I guess she's
hmm.
moving down.
No, we don't have a 46 or a 45, so it's just
She just
wrong.
happens to, yeah, she just happens to be there right now, but
Yeah,
she's going to make that weight. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, right. If that's the case, I'm going to go with Norma Dumont. I think that if she's able to thwart off the grappling entries, just lay those hands on, just be the rock'em sock'em robot that I know and love. That's what I like out of Norma Dumont. She is a game thrower of hands.
Yeah, I hear your points, and apparently she's Brazilian. Would not have guessed that from looking at this picture over here. But either way, I'm going to take the true Brazilian over here with Ketlin because she's the archetype of Brazilian women that win, which is stern, stocky fire hydrants who just know how to fucking one. They come out the womb doing BJJ, and then also they have heavy hands. So it's kind of a pretty good package that they have over there.
That is eerily accurate. Fire hydrants. That's funny. But yeah, no, I think that Dumont. That I'm going for the striking. I want to see her come out here and crack heads.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of ladies, how does Alice Ardelian still not have a picture on here? But Alice Ardelian versus Montserrat Conejo Ruiz.
That was a very good, yeah, that was a very good pronunciation of her name. But what I will say is that, of course, I took my first Romanian pick with Daniel Franza. I'm taking my second Romanian pick with Alice Ardoyan because I have always applauded somebody like her for being so game. Like she is actually a Chad fighter. She's somebody who, at 10-7, I mean, this is not Angela Hill with a record that's almost 500. This is somebody who genuinely can put on performances that are like make you like wow, like she is fucking fun, like. And also her opponent is 5 foot even. Holy fucking shit, that might be the shortest person on the roster. That is genuinely crazy. I mean, 5 foot even. I mean, we look at Josh Van and we're like, holy crap. And he's 5'4". And I know women are different. And Ardo Yan is 5'3", but like 5 foot, you're not 5 foot on paper for nothing. You're either 5'1" and they just wanted to round it off at 5 foot, or you're genuinely 4'11" and they're trying to be nice. So
Perhaps. Yeah, she, size advantage will be on the side of Alice, but yeah, no, I mean, I was always kind of a skeptic of Alice Ardelian for many fights. I've been coming around to her a little bit more over time. Uh, Ruiz is one who has never really made a ton of waves. I really more remember her for her tattoos than her fighting. She's got the big throat tattoo going on. Um, Alice can come in here and if she puts on that game performance that you're talking about, I'm all in. I will tentatively go with Ardelian, but I will say that if she comes in here and ends up, getting trounced or getting overwhelmed by this much smaller lady, then it's going to go right back to what I thought about her before. And I'm trying to bring myself around. So you do the other half of that. Meet me halfway, bring the fight to her.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Alice has got this.
All right.
She's a dog for
I
real.
know you're a fan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. Well, I too will go with her, but like I said, it comes with a caveat. She needs to actually bring it.
True. This is a
All
good one.
right. This is a good one, and how the hell is this so low on the card? I mean, I guess just to get people through the door. This is Phil Rowe versus Suk Young Ko. Excuse me, I always make that mistake. Suk
It's
Young Ko.
Korean Tyson, by the way, if you were.
Yes.
This is the
Yes,
one that
indeed.
beat Oban Elliott. Phil Rowe coming off a great performance. Actually,
Comeback victory.
let me say it was not a great performance because he was losing to Angelos for the first 3 rounds and 2.5 minutes, and then he has a comeback victory and finishes Angelos, which was very fun. It was a very good performance, and I definitely remember him from that. I remember how massive he is for welterweight too. This one will be interesting. I think as a dog for Phil Rowe, it is very warranted because he was taken down and held down by Angelos, and he wasn't able to do anything up until the final moment where Ange gassed out and did not take him down. Korean Tyson, who fights nothing like Tyson and only takes people down and holds them down and magically has cardio to do that for 3 rounds right out of the contender series. I think this should be cut and dry. I mean, Phil Rowe probably gets held down again for a performance. Even after I think after that fight with Angelos, like, he went on a big rant, like, I told you guys I'm ready, like, I've been ready, and it's like, buddy,
Yeah.
you were losing for a lot of that one. So let's
Right.
just calm the brakes here. So we'll see what Korean Tyson can do here. This will be interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big deal. I mean, Rowe is a very accomplished grappler. I mean, he's credentialed. He's like a flow grappling guy, one of those kind of dudes. So he's established in that world. Translating it to MMA, especially against a guy who's also going to want to do that and can do that for a long time. I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for Rowe in this one. And unlike Angelosa, I think that Ko over here keeps him down, gets him down and keeps him down. And I think that that's going to be the problem. So I'm agreeing with the assessment. I too will go with Suk Young Ko.
Hell yeah.
All right. And the first fight of the evening to round this thing out is Talita Alankar versus Irene Carnelossi.
So what the deal is with Talita Alankar is she faced Stephanie Luciano in the Contender Series.
Yep.
They got a draw because Stephanie Luciano got a 10-8 in the third round because Talita Alankar was gassing out, couldn't get off of her butt. She was just tired and didn't have anything left. In the rematch, the same exact thing happened because the first fight in Stephanie Luciano, or for the first fight of Talita Alankar's UFC career, she faced Stephanie Luciano. It was her second fight. And the same exact thing happened. Talita gassed out third round, lost the fight. Stephanie won the first 2 rounds and then took away a victory. In the last fight from Talita Alankar, I was wrongfully predicting that she was going to again not have the cardio that was UFC level. She was going to grapple the first round and end up losing the next two because she doesn't have the gas tank to stand with the people in the UFC. I was completely wrong. I was 100% wrong. She actually showed so much improvement. She showed that she was willing to fight all the way to the bell. She was willing to do so. I actually think she might have even got a finish, to be fair. No, it was a decision. Okay, Vanessa Demopoulos. And that's somebody who at the time I agreed should be beating her because she didn't
Right.
have the gas tank to go 3 rounds. And the fact that she was handling her for 3 rounds, it gives me great hope that she will actually win this performance. Minus 240 sucks for somebody that I've seen kind of quit on themselves due to exhaustion, but they haven't done that since tentatively and this other girl, Carnelosi, is terrible. So
That was really going to be my point. Is it's like, yeah, I mean, Carnelosi is muscular for nothing, is what I kind of class her as. She's got great physique, as far as being a fighter goes. She's got a lot of muscles on the body, but as far as actually utilizing the limbs effectively, I've seen much better, much earlier in the career. She's 15-3 coming into this fight, and at that point, you'd think that there'd be a lot more meat on the bone, metaphorically speaking. There's really not, and that's just a sad reality. So Alan Carr, assuming that she can keep her gas tank up and negate what Carnelosi's bringing to the table, which is probably going to be some decent range striking and maybe a little ground game, I think that she's going to be able to navigate all of that. Hopefully.
yeah, I'm gonna take Alan Carr. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, she gets to finish this time. I would not like to see her go deep waters again, but I think Carnelosi is somebody that I've seen get out grappled by Pierre Rodriguez, who then decided to headbutt her and get disqualified. I couldn't tell you why, but Alan Carr is definitely not that stupid. I mean, she just happens to run out of a gas tank in her earlier fights. So that's really all that I can say. But an impressive performance I'm expecting. Again, women's fights for the first fight of the night, you know you are guaranteed some sort of banger.
Yep, you were certainly right about that on the previous card. So I'm hoping for that as well here.
Yeah.
And of course, we will be live to watch all of these fine fights with you folks on the watch along individually. Myself and the Vitz King will be at youtube.com/@Yama Show. And Chase, I know you can tell them where they can find you.
They will find me watching the UFC every Saturday, of course, and one on Friday mornings at youtube.com/@CP Smalls. And of course, we are always having great times Friday nights now when we do our Friday fun recap. And make sure you guys are there, and make sure you guys are just keeping updated with us, because we're cooking up a lot of different new ventures and projects. And as long as you guys are in tune, then we are vibrating on some good frequencies over here.
Absolutely. Make sure you're watching those one cards along with Chase. There are some great fights that are going under the radar on Friday morning. So
Hell yeah.
do that. We will be back with MMA on film. Chase gave you a little bit of a hint as to the film that we're doing here. So keep your eyes out for that. Tomorrow, actually, depending on schedule, I got to see there's some other external factors to that, but possibly might be live tomorrow for something very extra special. So keep your head on a swivel for that as well. Always stuff coming out on the channels. Make sure you are aware. Make sure that you're following on Twitter for Chase. Like he said, I am at Yama Show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram as well. Keep you posted on all of these things coming up. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today, guys, in the chat. We petered off a little bit, but that you were extremely active during the main event talk, so we really appreciate that all the time, guys. The support means the world to us. So have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. We'll see you very soon. And as always, fight on.